Hey, everybody. Welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, for this Valentine's Day stream is none other than Inquisitor 8.1 Quiz. How are you? Feeling loved?
I've always single on Valentine's Day. It's just a sad point in my life. But I know I'm loved by someone.
By us. You are loved by us. And by us, of course, I mean, rounding out our triumvirate of awesome is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how are you on this Valentine's Day stream?
Fine. Usual.
Cool.
I'm awesome.
All right. Piss and excellence as usual. Nice to hear. And as you can see, joining us, a special guest that we're happy to have, none other than Cynical Lindsay. Lindsay, how are you on this Valentine's Day stream?
Oh, I am fantastic.
Yeah?
Spending it with you guys and listening to my husband snoring his head off in the next room. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
So, out of the four of us, you're the only one who's currently in a relationship. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
She's just rubbing it in now. Show off.
I know, right? God.
I see the way you slip. Oh, my husband, you losers. Yeah, I get it. I know. No, it's fine. I've got a date set up for tomorrow night. It's good. It's always the prospects, man. You guys got to learn to keep prospects around, you know? So anyway.
I've got plenty of prospects. Just I'm not really into trying to solicit a whole bunch of bots on Instagram.
What are you doing on IG anyway?
No, it's that's all that fucking respond to me sometimes in the fucking dating app that I got.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Wait, so it's a bunch of bots. I'm like, wait, are it's like sex dolls on Instagram or something?
Yeah, right? I know. Sounds perfect.
I like Vortex's comment. Let's talk about the things and the stuff. That is what we do here. We specialize in the things and the stuff, randomly as it might be. For those of you who haven't seen, what's that, Jack?
Butt stuff?
Oh, no. God damn it, Jack!
He said the stuff. It was the 80s horror movie.
Oh, I'm not going
to say anal sex has never come up on the stream, but as it being a regular topic of conversation, no, butt stuff is not one of our go-tos.
I don't know what you're talking about. Jack always brings it up every stream.
It's funny.
Speaking of butt stuff, have you seen our thumbnail for today?
Yeah.
No.
You showed it to me a while ago.
Well, I showed you the picture, but I didn't show you the completed, you know.
Well,
looking good.
That and also I do lurk on Monkey in the Morning because I can't join the stream.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I snuck previewed this yesterday morning when I finished it. I was actually working on it when I was on Monkey in the Morning with Jack and such. It was great.
We should also bring up the fact that it might be confusing some of our viewers. Polly has a weird way of working out time. Today and tomorrow don't register to him until he goes to sleep. So
you're not wrong.
He had not gone to sleep. So that's the reason why he kept on saying tomorrow, even though it was today.
You know what? I'd love to say fuck you, but you're like not even a little bit wrong. It's last night on Monkey in the Morning. No, it wasn't last night. It was this morning. It was like 6, 7, 8 a.m. or whatever the fuck, Jack. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like 7 in the morning.
Yeah. And Johnny Hellcat asks, how do I draw these? I don't. Greg Horn drew this one, the spectacularly talented artist, especially drawing the female form. Greg Horn actually drew this. And I am borrowing it through fair use to help promote his art.
Which is why we're addressing the beautiful anatomy of it, his perspective, and the nice angle work that he's got going on. He's a very good artist.
I'll say no. It is fair use even if you don't do that, Polly, because it is altered. You put our logo on there.
I put our logo on there, and the background has been changed to a lovely red hue because it's Valentine's Day.
That's pretty tenuous.
Well,
by YouTube standards.
the heart on the Valentine card she's burning was actually also pink. I changed it to a more traditional red heart. Just so you know.
I'm just saying we have to comment on it anyway.
Yeah.
Especially because she looks really hot. And although her hand with the lighter looks a bit mannish.
So do her fingers holding the card if you take a good look.
Yeah. But you know what? That's okay. Everybody's got flaws.
Well, she got a good hand game, but might yank your dick off. So be careful. And she is a superpowered mutant. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's more of a problem than the handies from the longshoremen.
The major problem with her is the fact that she's psychic. So she'll fucking rape your brains more than rape your dick.
That's more Jean Grey territory, I would say, because she'll make
Jean Grey Jean Grey learned it from her, okay? She learned it from watching her.
I know that reference. I've seen the collection of 80s PSAs on YouTube.
I learned it from watching you, all right?
Ryan Walters asked, might you be black? See, Quiz, is this an ongoing thing?
Yes.
Of your disinformation campaign that I'm black by spreading that I can't be on time.
You know what? Since you blame me for us starting late all the time, I'm okay with that. So
in any case, yeah. So there's our thumbnail for today. I try and keep it thematic. And then sometimes just, you know, hey, look, hot comic book babe. So, you know. So in trying to get ready for tonight's stream and in thinking about what's been going on over the past week, it has been a wash in comic book news and stories and comic book movies and things that are going on in Comicsgate. And in trying to correlate all the stories, it's like so awash in it that I have nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's burnout, man. There's just so much going on.
Well, so much of it is just bullshit drama.
Yeah.
I actually did get burned out. I was telling Jack about this for Lindsay and Quiz came into the hangout. I went onto Twitter. Be careful on Twitter, guys. I mean, seriously.
Wear a helmet.
Yeah, right.
May I first point out that Polly just admitted I was the first one on the stream?
No, I was the first one because I had to send you the link.
Well, it's your channel. But of everyone, I was the first one arriving, so this can't possibly be the reason that we start late.
Well, there's always a one-off, you know. And then there was like that 45 minutes where you disappeared and we didn't know where you were and we were waiting for you to come back. So, I mean.
That happens. I have an ADHD. I probably saw Butterfly.
I got distracted by something.
Don't let him pass himself off on you, Jack.
Yeah, well, Grisella says I still can't get the image of Rogue out of my head. I know, right? You know the DMs that I got on that? People asking where's that art from and so forth. I've been meaning to look it up, but my ADHD, every time I go to look it up, I keep finding the original collage that I grabbed it from. It wasn't like an original comic book page, but a collage of X-Men characters that I pulled that image of Rogue out of.
It could be a DeviantArt. I mean,
it absolutely could. It could be somebody's original art. I don't know. And then people like reverse image search for it, dummy. And I did, man. It just brought me back to the collage that I looked for. So that makes it even more likely it's DeviantArt now.
Oh, yeah. DM it to me and I'll see if I can. And then if I find the sauce, I'll
cops are coming for you.
They know. They're on to me.
For those of you wondering what we're talking about, it is last week's thumbnail, this image of Rogue, which is just, it doesn't look like anybody's style in particular, although it looks very Lee influenced, obviously.
That's definitely not Lee, though. I mean, there's absolutely no hatching. It's all digital gradient for the colors.
Lee can draw faces better.
And that nose just screams, I mostly draw manga.
Well, no, because they actually have a nose. A lot of manga, they do just either dots or a triangle. They don't go into actual details of the nostrils and the septum. Not like that. That's very indicative of American comics.
Does everybody appreciate my color coding here? That I made her. Like her eyes were green in the original picture, so I made sure her headband was the same shade of green as well as the background. It's the little things that count.
The colorism aspect is really not appropriate.
I don't know if that's what they mean when they say colorism, Jack.
I'm just making shit up now. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. So anyway, I did go onto Twitter, and Vortex says that I don't go on Twitter anymore, and it's made my life better. Yeah, I know the feeling. I adjusted ad block to block the trends on Twitter, so now I don't even see the trending rectangle. life has gotten a little bit better since then. It's a good thing to not see what people are raging over what Trump did or didn't do today, you know? Anyway, I did go looking at a certain Twitter Voldemort's page, and I'll just leave that individual's name unsaid. And
it was Ollie.
Yes.
Mike S. Miller.
What about him?
He's the one that drew that rogue.
Mike S. Miller drew that?
Yeah.
Good on you, Miller. Holy fuck, buddy. Damn. Okay. Mystery solved.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying? I totally broke my train of thought.
And I say thank you to Grisella, who was the one that led me down that rabbit hole to find that. The Grisella linked to the original Pinterest, and then I actually went into the actual code of the Pinterest forum and found the signature for Mike S. Miller.
And Ryan Walters, I love how Pokey, pretty sure he meant Polly, is trying to avoid copyright claims by pointing out every little transformative measure. Yeah. What's your point? No shame in my game, man. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. The art remains transformed and discussed and credited when known. Greg Horn, Mike S. Miller, etc. Well, I don't want my microscopic channel shut down, all right? There's nothing wrong with that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Twitter Voldemort, right, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going and reading her Twitter page. She's an anti-comics skater, and oh my God. So
if you're a regular fan of the show, you'll know who we're talking about.
Yeah. And I've decided not to discuss her tonight just because, blood pressure and so forth, because I'm going to just start raging. And I know some people want me to, but it's like, nah, man.
Fuck that cunt. She deserves to have no one talk about her, including when she is, relevant. Which
I've
is
been
never
saying that since the beginning, man. Just if you don't talk about her, she gets no attention, and attention is exactly what she wants.
And, that's a very zen way to approach it, Jack. But I don't feel very zen right now.
And what's funny is that some people in chat might be wondering, who the fuck are they talking about? And other people will know, and probably somebody will type it out or whatever. And if you do, fine, go ahead. But suffice it to say that who she is and what she does is enough of an explanation without talking about her because of the fame that she desires through doing so. She's an anti-comic skater, and everybody who wants good stories in comics, everybody who wants to not be beat over the head with progressive liberal values in their comics is a Nazi.
Yep.
She rolls around Twitter pointing her moralizing finger at anyone and everyone, and comics pros love backing her up because they do their dirty work for them. She does.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, does it really matter who she is? No.
Especially Joe Quesada.
Yeah, especially Joe Quesada, Wow. So, in any case,
you're still terrible, Joe. No one likes you.
Yeah.
Get out of comics.
I was actually reading a Joe Quesada comic from back in the day when he used to draw Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he had a fairly long run on Spider-Man. So, I opened up the comic forgetting that it was Quesada that drew it. And Quesada, for those who don't know, is the current chief creative officer. He's on the executive board at Marvel Comics.
He's supposed to be like an editor, but what editor or what editing is actually going on at Marvel Comics nowadays?
Solomon does all their fucking editing. What's her name? I can never remember.
Sana Amanat.
Yeah, Sana Amanat.
Sana Amanat.
It sounds like a chant from ancient Egypt that'll summon Cthulhu or something.
I was just thinking of Manamana.
What's funny is that I was correlating stories about Sana Amanat, and for those of you wondering who we're talking about, she's somebody that was hired at Marvel onto their executive board to a six-figure position, and you might wonder, oh, well, how did she get that position? By working 2 years at Virgin Comics, a tanked comic book company, and that was her only past experience in comics. And she herself, in a recent interview, magazine interview, said, I have no business working in comics, but somebody decided to promote me because they thought my voice needed to be heard. And now she views that, in her own description, as being her mission at Marvel Comics, to ensure people from marginalized communities have a voice. So her job is to hire based upon things like skin color and religious affiliation and you know, a number of other incidental factors, and their merits as an artist apparently are somewhere far down the list, be it artistry in writing or artistry in actual graphics.
Yeah. Well, you know, the really sickening thing about Sana Amanat, if you go to her Wikipedia, we're not going to bring this up again. I already brought it up last time we mentioned her, but did you know that she has won Eisner Awards? Or sorry, no, a Hugo Award.
Oh, I was like an Eisner Award. Like she didn't create anything except for the new Miss Marvel. And
I was gonna say she won a Hugo Award for Best Graphic Story in 2015. Guess what for?
Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel.
Oh my God. It was awful. The whole character and her motivation and because she's a young Muslim girl and Sana Amanat is brown and Muslim. So therefore, of course, she created she Mary Sue the fuck out of a character, like self-insert, I mean.
Well, no, that's well, yeah, Mary Sue, I guess, is terminology, but yeah, self-insert is probably a little bit more accurate. She did exactly what Gabby Rivera did, but Gabby Rivera was put on a pillory and fucking shunned out of comic books. Rightly so. What the hell is Sana Amanat doing?
Wait, wasn't Gabby Rivera the one that wrote shit, what was the name of that? America
Chavez, yep. She wrote America. She got, what is it, 12 issues? She got 12 issues and then now doesn't write comic books anymore at all.
You know, it's funny because I mentioned this to you, Quiz, where I saw great, I'm blanking on this. Oh, I saw Micah Curtis did reviews of American Chavez, and I saw some of the panels. I'm just like, oh, this is cringy as fuck.
Oh yeah. For those not in the know, you should go back and look through our past catalog here on Polydub's channel for comic book curation. We review America Chavez #3. It is awful. Everything about it is terrible.
I mean, we talked for an hour and a half. I managed to edit it down to, I don't know, I'm going to guess 45 minutes. It's probably longer than that because we just went on and on about how bad it is.
Yeah.
Okay, but the question is, how much alcohol am I going to need to get through it?
Oh, okay.
Well, we make it fun, so I'm going to say none. Now, if you were to just read the issue as a standalone, at least a fifth.
Yeah, right. The best part about it is if you take it as like a parody of a comic book, like it's the room of comics, you'll actually get kind of a kick out of it. Like the bit where she's yelling at her grandmother about seeing a dead cat, and then knowing for a fact that that's where your boy Zach got Splato Delgado from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a kick out of it. You really will.
You're tearing me apart, Grandma.
You're tearing me apart.
It is one of the few comic books I know that actually stretches from like being so bad it's good, like, you know, The Room or any of the other cult following movies that are you can watch them over and over again and it produces laughter, not anger. For me, it does.
America Chavez for me is like the movie Demon Under Glass. You watch it and you're like, what is this? Why am I watching this? This is painful. And it feels like it goes on forever. And then it just abruptly ends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Frosted Glass corrected you, Polly. You said it's America Ocasio Chavez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they are both Puerto Rican. What's interesting about we said they were both like self-inserts on Gabby Rivera and Amana Shavanana's part. The thing that's funny about Gabby Rivera is that how obvious it was. It's, you know, America Chavez like has her exact ethnic background and has her speech patterns and talks in the form of bad poetry like Gabby Rivera writes, and is gay, of course, like because you're reminded on every single page that she's a lesbian.
She's queer.
Yeah.
They specify.
And has a girlfriend that's white and blonde, but has all kinds of troubled relationships with her. And, you know,
doesn't like white people.
Yeah. Like it's such an obvious self-insert. Whereas with Sana Amanat, it's super idealized version of her 14-year-old self. She's from the most peaceful, inclusive, colorblind, beset upon by white racist Muslim family you can imagine. Miss Marvel's family. Kamala Khan is the sweetest little girl in the world who everybody hates her just because she's Muslim. And her family is so nice and wonderful and inclusive. And, you know, it's just really like this is getting bordering on propaganda.
Yeah,
right?
Bordering. Let's go with
that. So anyway, all the way back to where we started this conversation, or where I started it anyway. Why Twitter Voldemort pissed me off so much today, and I got burned out, and I didn't even want to like mention her name today, is because she commented upon something that happened just last night, and the fact that these motherfuckers on Twitter would even talk about this thing that happened blows my mind. Peter Simeti, the owner and founder of Alterna Comics, got swatted last night while he was streaming. This poor guy. Unfucking believable. People are so bent out of shape. This guy is not a ComicGate supporter. No. He's not.
He just doesn't condemn them.
Yeah.
Cynical, very much.
Yeah, he's not towing the line of anti-ComicsGate. That's the problem.
If you're not with them, you're against them.
Yep.
Like, I think when I heard of Simeti, like, here's the position to take on it. And yeah, I know I'm using myself as the example, but I'm sorry, this really is the position to take. When I heard like Peter Simeti's like not going to toe the line and he's not going to be on the side of ComicsGate, I thought, oh fuck, it's too bad. I wish more independent people, like independent comic producers, publishers, were on the side of ComicsGate. That sucks. That was my first reaction. I'm like, oh well. That was it.
Yeah, but you're a semi-rational person as opposed to these lunatics.
Yeah.
Like you can see on he is forever wearing the garb of Alterna Comics, and that's great. You know, like take every chance to promote for your small publishing house, right? He's always wearing an Alterna Comics button and hat, and he's got a poster in the background when he's streaming. They got so angry at him. Jack, why don't you explain why they got so angry at this guy on Twitter? Why they, meaning comic book pros who are viciously anti-ComicsGate.
Well, they've had a policy in place, and it became public knowledge that he doesn't want you doing blockchains on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He wants you to promote your own book. It's part of the deal when you sign up. To get published through Alterna. You're supposed to promote your own work. And they didn't like that because all these crazy people are blockchain users. And a lot of creators walked. The creators for Amazing Age walked. The creators of Croak walked. A couple others. And he lost a lot of people of his catalog, as it were. And it created a lot of vitriol among pros. They say, oh, how dare you do that? That's completely unreasonable. No, not really. So they've hated him ever since. They called him alt-right and all this other stuff. He's Asian, in case you didn't see. He's half Italian, half, I think, Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Korean.
And they call him a white nationalist.
Oh. I honestly think what happened there, because he's got the name Peter Simeti, yeah. You know, so you just automatically assume this guy must be part of the white cis het patriarchal.
Yeah, well, it's just lazy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. This is a guess. Like I said, I'm totally guessing on this, but I think a lot of people just started the knee-jerk reactions and the big sticks that they wield are always going to work, right? So it's, well, you and your white privilege and, you know, you're supporting the alt-right and white nationalism. And it's like, whoa, 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 I'm Asian. The fuck are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Well, you're supporting the alt-right, blah, blah, blah. I think they doubled down after they found out he was Asian because, like you said, Jack, they were too lazy to find out what the fuck to begin with. They just assumed and started swinging their big stick of ists and phobes.
Well, the same thing happened to David Webb, on the conservative talk show host. He had a woman on saying that he was a privileged white guy, and he's black.
Yeah, and he didn't let it go. He got funny about it. Like,
oh, yeah.
This amazes me that you or your people couldn't do a minor amount of work that as soon as somebody's disagreeing with you, we're going to use certain language because we know it's going to shut you up, you and your privilege. Anything, any work you've done as a result of you haven't done any work. You got everything for free because you're white.
And
you know?
They haven't let up on Simeti. They tried to mess with his distribution channels. Stores were refusing to buy his books. That's part of the reason some of these stores go out of business, by the way. They play politics too. But he was driven to the point where he was contemplating suicide. And even Megs Visaggio came out and said, maybe we should back off a little. Nobody should feel like they need to kill themselves over this. But that didn't stop a lot of anti-comic skaters from assuming he was immediately against them and dogpiling him for months. And it's been building and building. And now he got swatted. And there was, there's a good chance he could have got shot. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
SWAT teams are pretty trigger happy people, and if they're using a no-knock warrant, they just bust in, and that can end in tragedy.
Yep.
Yeah. What was I was sitting there thinking about the concept of swatting the other day, and whether or not there's a direct intentionality, let's call it that, in hoping the person gets shot. And it's like, whether or not there's an intentional, like, I want to see the person shot, you had to realize it was a possible outcome of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're taking to charging people with manslaughter for it now.
Or at the very least, first-degree manslaughter, because there's a risk involved.
Yeah, well, you're using the cops as a weapon. It's sort of like hiring a hitman.
Here's his tweet from last night, so you guys have a sense of what we're talking about. I just had 2 guns pointed at me tonight because someone made a call to the police and gave them my address along with a falsified report. I'm shook up, but everything is okay now. I'm going to talk to the police tomorrow and see if I can find out more. And it's like, this is when he was in the middle of a stream, y'all. Like, fucking mind-blowing. So and he goes on to say, according to the police, an anonymous caller pretending to be me called up and said that I had, quote, stabbed my girlfriend and that I was suicidal. They gave the cops my name and address. The sergeant gave me his card, and I'll be giving them a call tomorrow. He sent this out last night, right? Early this morning, 12:39 a.m., his time zone. Now, what the intentionality when you call up police and you say, I just stabbed my girlfriend and I'm feeling suicidal, and they send cops, of course they're pointing guns at him, like put the knife down kind of thing. And the police are now expecting this guy to be threatening. He's already injured, possibly killed someone. He's trying to kill himself, and he might attack us, and he's armed.
Yeah, suicidal people have nothing left to lose, so you have to assume they're incredibly dangerous, because if they're going to kill themselves, there's a better chance they're going to kill you too. So that's just psychology 101. So yeah, they went in guns blazing. He could easily have been accidentally killed, holding a phone or something like that. You get a rookie cop or some trigger-happy guy on the team that sees something and immediately reacts. It's happened before. So yeah,
well, actually, bullshit. Jim brings up a point, and that's why I'm questioning the intentionality. Jim says, let's be real and say this was not attempted murder. No, I've heard people use that phrase, and it was not attempted murder or even manslaughter. It's the recklessness of it that blows my mind. Reckless endangerment, whatever you want to call it. I can think of more terms that make sense in civil court than in criminal court, because I'm not sure how criminal law would even handle this. I have no idea. Well, am I saying that the person wanted someone to die? No, but you had to realize that was a possibility of calling the police, and that's all I'm saying. So therefore,
I think Jim's
extremely reckless.
What I said, what I meant was that if he had been killed, the caller could have been charged with manslaughter.
Yeah, well,
because he was dead. Not saying he was. That they can charge this person with manslaughter. They could charge him with a host of other things.
I'll say that's the thing, though, is that there's some actual statutes some actual ways to put it out that would be manslaughter. It can be tried in court that way, because reckless endangerment is a manslaughter charge, at least in some states.
Well, what I want to definitely avoid is, because like none of us here are Jamal Igle. We can't give competent legal advice like he presumes to on Twitter.
True story.
Yeah. What interests me more is what's going on in and around it, and Peter Simeti's reaction to it. Like, this guy is the perennial chill, nice guy who just loves comics. I mean, it's literally his avatar is a button that says, I love comics. He wants to produce comics, and so he does, on original newsprint, so they're less expensive. He sells them for $1.50 an issue. This guy is just obviously running a small publishing house. He doesn't support Comicsgate, and he doesn't speak against it. I just don't want any part in your guys' little culture war. You know what I mean? And this fucking guy gets swatted over it, and that blows my mind. And then he sends out a tweet last night with words to the effect of, please nobody weaponize what happened here. And it's like, and you're still chill on this.
That's going to happen regardless. It's a shitty thing to do to someone, regardless of what the motivation is.
Yeah.
You have someone swatted. I'm sorry. There's a really good chance somebody's going to get shot.
Well, and that's exactly what I was thinking, is that how could you call the cops and not realize that those cops might pull a gun on you or on that person and shoot them, you know?
If you're saying that somebody committed a violent act and they're responding like it's a violent act, the chances of somebody getting hurt escalate vastly, and they should be charged with some sort of aggravated assault or attempted murder or something like that, because that's what you're doing. You are trying to get someone hurt.
Yeah.
Whether you mean to or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's the result of it, is there's a good chance somebody's getting hurt. Your intention isn't always what's necessary. It's just what actually happened.
Well,
I mean,
we could definitely stop guessing, and this is why I brought up this. Not guessing, but guessing is how the law will deal with this. A law, I mean, according to Peter Simeti's Twitter, they're already dealing with it, and you know what he was saying, what he was tweeting out today, and they're going to continue to. But over on Bounding into Comics, they have an exclusive interview with First Print Comics, a little small publishing house, co-owner David Ignat. Help me with this, guys. Ignatio?
I don't know. I don't do names.
I'm just going to roll with Ignatio. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, man.
Gugliato? Something? I don't know.
Ingugliato.
Sure, let's go with that.
Sounds cool. Okay. Recounts Alterna Comics publisher Peter Simeti's encounter with police, because, you know, he was there for it. First Print Comic owner David Ignatio, sorry, buddy, was attempting to stream on YouTube with Alterna Comics publisher Peter Simeti when police arrived at his house. Ignatio detailed to us what he heard and witnessed during the live stream. Quote, "So we were just there talking on live stream when Peter heard banging. He excused himself and got up to answer the door. From what I heard, it sounded like two police officers were entering the apartment. They asked where his girlfriend was and to show his hands. Peter was clearly shocked by this. The police asked who he was, and he responded. After a little bit, the officers figured out that this call was bogus." Ignatio continued, "Peter had no idea what was going on. Neither did I. I was pretty confused. The cops said that they had an anonymous call that Peter had stabbed his girlfriend and was suicidal. They said that Peter was probably being swatted. They asked if he had anyone he thought would do this. Oh my God. He had told them that he runs Alterna Comics Publishing and has a lot of people who don't like him." I mean, what kills me about this is the amount of people that I read today on Twitter saying this is over comics, people, like, and then comics is in all caps, right? They're just paper with images printed upon them, and it's not worth somebody's life, et cetera, et cetera. And they're all people that I would, I think, not unfairly categorize as anti-comics gators because of where I was reading their tweets in terms of replies to what, you know. And you have people who are now backing away from this, as you said, Mags Visaggio and other people, and others like, no, I don't condone this. No, I don't support that anything like this happened to somebody. But you were all the same people talking about punching Nazis. Every one of you. You were all the people saying, you know, we're going to take it to the streets. Well, all this violent imagery around this culture war, and now they're just bits of paper.
Well, I was going to say, if they're talking about taking it to the streets, consider it taken to the streets when, you know, someone like Peter Simeti gets swatted. Do you think that that's a good idea? Do you think people that are saying these exact same things should look at this as a cautionary tale? But are they going to?
They think it's a good idea until real life happens. And then they get scared because that's how normal people are. Internet badasses sit around and talk tough, but then something like this happens and they realize they're on the suspect list.
Swatting is so completely beyond the pale that we can take a step back from it, and you can say that certain things are beyond the pale before they happen, and now you have to worry about what you've said previously on Twitter, on streams, on whatever the fuck, and backtrack off of it and have somebody calling you a hypocrite or now running scared or whatever the fuck off of what you said previously. It's not very hard for me to say I've had a consistent opinion on doxing. Don't fucking dox people.
Doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter what they think and what they've said. Do not dox people. Period.
And with people that I thoroughly, viciously disagree with their opinions, and they get doxed, I'm pissed.
Well, doxing is immoral. This is evil.
And that's what I'm saying. It's easy to take a position on this after the fact where it's like, oh my God, somebody's life came into it. Yeah, but destroying the quality of somebody's life, possibly getting them fired, whatever the fuck, by doxing them or calling their work and saying they're part of a hate group or whatever the fuck. I mean, all of that is ridiculous behavior too. Taking an internet fight IRL is all fucked.
Well, it's kind of pathetic, but yeah, what gets me is that there's somebody out there that's a big enough loser that they're taking a disagreement over something as trivial as comics, let's be honest, and they're getting the police involved. That how pathetic is your life that you have to go to that level, that you are dropping down into swatting someone. That tells me how pathetic and wasted your life is, that you're bringing over some minor political differences about the culture in itself over to a violent sphere. Well, I mean, why don't you just no, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I have no respect for these people. The person that did this is a piece of shit, and I hope they get caught. I hope they're too stupid to hide who they are, and the cops are able to trace it.
Yeah. I don't think it's unfair. I don't think anyone here would disagree that, the full weight of law enforcement coming down upon a person that acted in this way is totally just. Yeah. I just think it says a lot about I don't want to get into a philosophical discussion. I don't really think it has a place, the relationship between rhetoric, be it superheated or otherwise, and real life actions. You know what I mean? It's like, if you don't want to be caught in a position of saying, well, that's not what I meant, and that was all rhetoric, and those were just words, don't shoot your mouth off constantly about people being punched and taking shit to the street, and how you want to see bad things happen to people, and how you want to smash people in the back of the head with a bat or turn them into a paraplegic. And I'm quoting individual tweets from individual anti-comic skaters when I say those things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, aimed at certain people because they think they're justified because of how, oh, this person said something mean about a trans person. This person said something mean about a woman. Yeah, and you violently threatened him in return. It's what are you even doing?
That's what I'm saying, because you're so mad over something minor. Somebody said something mean to you. Yeah, people say mean shit to me all the time. Who cares? Get over it. Get over yourself.
Get a helmet.
Yeah. And you know what? Peter Simeti's a really nice guy. He didn't deserve this. I hope the feds get involved and find the person that did this and charge him on a federal level, because it was done over the phone lines.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I'm looking up on Wikipedia here, endangerment. There are felony degrees of endangerment, and the actual wording of the law says, quote, depraved indifference to human life, or quote, creates a grave risk to health, or creates a grave risk of death to another person. So if anything, I think would apply to that, to a law that could be used against this person, it would be endangerment.
Well, you know who's going to be talking about this is probably
Rikita Law.
Yeah, Nick Rikita.
I would sincerely hope he does.
And that's one of the great things about like YouTuber Law or Nick Rikita or whatever. At least they're qualified attorneys. None of us are. For all we know, it's if the call was out of state or in state and the various details of that. And that's why there's attorneys and judges, so people aren't taking guesses and pulling Jamal Eigels online, quoting laws they don't understand or the application thereof. You know what I mean? So, but one thing I do understand is what's going on with Comicsgate and anti-Comicsgate, and how it's, again, just don't say things later on that you're going to have to end up backing off of because it seemed like you supported these things before it actually happened. You know, don't run around asking for people's docs, and then when you yourself get doxed, you get mad over it.
Yeah.
Because just say, doxing sucks. Don't do it. Whether it's your friend, your enemy, whatever the fuck. It's always bad news. Don't fuck around with it.
Well, and what gets me is that these are the same lunatics who have no problem calling you a Nazi, but yet the fucking tactics that they use is exactly something that a Nazi would do.
And I keep bringing up doxing because people are like, well, it's not like Peter Simeti got doxed, Polly. He got swatted. And I'm like, I don't think that anybody needs to say don't swat.
Well,
I mean, it's like, really? I need to say that? Yeah, obviously don't fucking swat.
Apparently you have to.
Unless if you have a certain kink, you know, and swat.
Hold on. You do realize that for someone to swat, they need to have your docs, right?
Oh, well, true. You do.
They need to know where you live. They need to know your phone number. They need to know all of these things. So, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of a different kind of SWAT. Wink, wink.
No, I understood. And in swatting or doxing rather comes up the thing about calling people's work, because like if you have their information, you can call up their work and say they're part of an online hate group. Because yeah, that happened to Umbrella Guy.
Yep.
Imagine having to go into your boss's office and explain why someone called and said you're part of an online hate group.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Because that's trying to get someone fired, i.e. significantly impact their life in a negative way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm hoping they go after this person under the stalking statute in 18 USC 2261 3571 because they had to get his docs in order to do it, but it's
not a real legal code number, is it?
Yeah, look it up.
Okay.
I'll drop it in the chat if you want.
I didn't say we were going to go full.
No, I looked it up while I'm sitting here. I looked it up because
we're going to go full armchair lawyers in spite of how much Polydub doesn't want us to.
Yeah, because under federal law, it's a federal crime to stalk someone over the internet and make threats against them, which is what this is. They lied to make a threat, and that you could construe it that way. A good lawyer could anyway. They could spend 5 years in prison for that.
Jim asked,
fined not to exceed $250,000.
Jim asked, how do these officers get his address? Someone calling to say that they're suicidal doesn't give out their address for people to come save them. If Peter Simeti is to be taken at his word, and I don't know, let's just take him at his word for the time being. He said that that's what the officers told him, the caller had said. I'm suicidal. I just stabbed my girlfriend. Here's my address.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably on Kiwi Farms. I mean,
that's the part that is more credible for that is the fact that he said I stabbed my girlfriend. People who stab someone and say that they're suicidal usually do give out that kind of information because they're having regrets about doing something like that. At least I could see that being plausible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not. Simeti's kind of a normie, so he might not have had an unlisted address or something. I'm sure somebody's got his docs. I'm sure it's been around for a while because of the whole alt-right nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing to bet it's on Kiwi Farms somewhere. But yeah, he's probably going to move now. I hope.
Yeah. Well, right. And now he's got the financial burden of having to surprise move if he chooses to, or stay the place he's currently at with a feeling of insecurity being there and a justified feeling of insecurity. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. This is ridiculous. I hope they catch the person that did this.
And there is probably the best place to end it, because like so many things that have been going on since the last time we streamed last Wednesday, this is a developing story. Because like I said, it just happened last night. Peter Simeti's last tweet that I showed you guys there came after midnight. So talk about an ever unrolling story. You know what I mean? It as a hard cut onto something else. This reminded me, Jim Healis is in chat. Jim Healis, the creator of Blue Mamba, was actually interviewed by Scribe Light on his channel this weekend. And there is the link in chat if you guys want to check it out. It was a great interview.
After the stream.
After the stream. And as I've been informed, Rakita is streaming right now. Don't go watch it. Watch it later.
Why would you tell them that?
No, because it was already said in chat. It was already said in chat.
Better than you is streaming. You don't acknowledge that. You'd be like, whatever.
Well, watch them after us, you know. Yeah, listen to the armchair lawyers first.
Yeah.
No, don't listen to the armchair lawyers. We don't listen to us or Jamal Eigel when people who aren't attorneys attempt to tell you how the law works. I mean, that's just stupid.
The law works its way, Polly.
And I guess, why don't we all get matching chairs and smoking jackets from Johnny Hellcat? I will not be imitated. My smoking jacket and pipe are my style, and you can figure out what you want to wear. Ascots and smoking jackets are my thing. There.
All right, Freddie.
Freddie.
Are we gonna split up and look for clues too?
Oh, Freddie did wear an ascot, didn't he?
I'll take Velma.
Yeah, but he wore so will I. He wore an ascot with like a collegiate sweater, man. That was preppy. My style's laid back and suave. It's different.
Doubt.
We're always like, yeah, we have a format. We're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and then we never do.
Well,
the format's out the window, dude. Come on.
Let's talk about the reason we named the chat what we did, or the stream what we did. Jesus' Second Coming is canceled. Vertigo Comics has not been doing well, huh? Vertigo Comics, for those who don't know, is a DC imprint that relaunched on its 25th anniversary to host what I think would not unfairly be called a bunch of, progressive comics?
That's understandable.
Yeah, I would say that. It's most notable because they got Zoe Quinn to write a comic, and everyone knows who Zoe Quinn is.
Yeah, Zoe Quinn of Gamergate infamy. Can't believe we're still bringing up Gamergate. I can't believe they hired someone who's never published a piece of fiction in her life to write a comic book. You know how many struggling comic book writers there are out there dying for a chance at a big 2 publication?
Mm-hmm.
And they give it to Zoe Quinn? Why? And I mean, you had to understand the reaction that was going to engender. And it's
I really think they thought that was going to bring them a lot of positivity, though. Like, oh my God, they got Zoe Quinn. And the controversy would boost sales, which it probably did a little bit, which is kind of sad since it did so badly.
Well, boosting sales is, I think, in my opinion, total guesswork here, is what they had in mind when they put this comic together, Second Coming. But DC Vertigo cancels Second Coming of Jesus comic book series.
I like what Jim Heelis just said. Hey, now Zoe is published fiction. Listen to her UN speech.
Well played. It just really bugs me that they would hire her of all people in an attempt to, if you didn't want to look like you were publishing a bunch of SJW shit, like to use that overused acronym, why would you put her of all people on a comic book who has no background in writing comics at all, and her only credibility in the field would be I got nothing.
No, her only credibility is the fact that she has controversy surrounding her name. Well-deserved and, earned controversy, but controversy nonetheless. So, of course, having her name being well-known, people are going to go out and look for the comic just because of that.
Nah. Well, you're not wrong. Her comic is particularly called Goddess Mode, and the 3rd issue, I believe, came out today as its new comic book day, for those who don't know.
Not even read it. I don't want to.
I have 1 and 2. Well, I've read 1. We got to talk about it next week, or do an independent show on it, or edited video or something.
Yeah, we should do an edited video on Goddess Mode. That would be just the perfect amount of cringe to follow up America Chavez.
Maybe we should wait for its inevitable canceling.
Yeah.
Because I don't, but then it might go full 12 issues like America Chavez did. There's no telling.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got American Carnage, way to quote Trump's inauguration speech there. Well done, you fucking transparent, obvious pricks. And there was Border Town, of course, which we've talked about before on stream and shown some images of, that comic was a ridiculous farce, and it got canceled, not because of poor sales, although it had poor sales, but it got canceled because the artist was accused of all sorts of sexual impropriety.
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's a wonderful look for your progressive imprint.
Well, this one didn't even get a 1st issue, though.
Yeah. So Second Coming, as you can see on your screen, and I've got 3 different tabs open for this one story because I love talking about how people use media assets, meaning people that they know, friends that they have in media, journalists, editors, and so on, to publish things that are in their favor. I was watching a Diversity in Comics, your boy Zach's stream, like, I don't know, it was like 3-4 days ago or whatever. And he used this phrase that struck me as, oh my God, that's brilliant. He goes, the state of journalism today, there's only 2 types of articles, puff pieces and smear pieces.
Yeah.
No, puff pieces and hit pieces. That was the phrase he used.
Yeah.
And it, which made me laugh because I thought, oh my God, has it really gotten that bad? And he says, if a journalist wants to talk to you, you have to ask yourself the question, are they writing a hit piece or a puff piece?
Yeah. Which one?
Yeah. Which one is it going to be? And you want even bad news can be spun in a particular way. And you see the way that it's handled by Hollywood Reporter is, and we've talked about it before on stream, they cover stories in the nicest way. There seems to be a lot of assets there for various companies and so on that they call their friend over at the Hollywood Reporter and say, hey, I got this story for you. And I mean, this is the way journalism works, right? People have contacts and it's the way it's supposed to work openly, that they have contacts that they've worked on for years, that they've developed relationships with different individuals that give them scoops, right? But at its worst, it's polishing shit to not make it look so bad, or spinning bad stories, or helping them promote a new project that they need to get promoted because it gives them a scoop and it gives them free promotion. You see what I mean? And I love seeing it happen in such an obvious way. So DC Vertigo cancels this book, Second Coming of Jesus, before its first issue ever hit the stands. It got canceled. The cover's been out for a while, but I love the way this article reads. It's a great example of how to prime your audience to think a certain thing before you actually get to the lead. The actual information you have. You just talk about other things in and around it and prime them to accept it in a certain way. The series about the Christian savior returning to Earth has and being disappointed by what he finds. The upcoming DC Vertigo title, Second Coming, has been canceled by the publisher weeks before the series was due to launch. Comic book retailers were told Wednesday orders for the first and second issue of the series, in which Jesus returns to Earth only to be appalled by what has become of his teachings, with humanity more enamored by a superhero Sun Man, were canceled with notice that, quote, the issues will not be resolicited, according to an update sent to comic stores. The series, which was intended to run monthly starting March 6th, has been targeted by an online petition that has described it as inappropriate and blasphemous content. Ooh, an online petition, because there aren't hundreds of those that are totally useless.
Because they're always so effective too.
So much change has happened in the world due to online petitions.
And I'm not kidding you. The online petition was at change.org, which is a stellar reputation for being effective as fuck, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think DC actually paid attention to that? I don't, but thank you for priming me for your information. On Twitter, Mark Russell, who co-created the series with Richard Artis Pace, revealed the cancellation of the series at DC was his doing. Then why did you mention the blasphemous and inappropriate and petition and stuff first?
Because it was burying the lead, Polly.
Well, right. Just so you know, he wrote, DC did not do anything untoward to me.
To me? Blink twice if you're being held against your will.
Actually, that is grammatically correct, though odd way of putting it. I asked for the rights back, and they gracefully agreed. They've been a pleasure to work with, and it will still be released, albeit with a different publisher. In a follow-up tweet, he added, I want to thank everyone at Vertigo. He's gotten to blah, 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 and they've all worked great, and here's the various people, and so forth. The cancellation of Second Coming follows the December cancellation of another Vertigo series, Border Town, after writer and co-creator Eric M. Esquivel was accused of sexual abuse. Both Border Town and Second Coming were a part of the high-profile relaunch of the DC Vertigo imprint, celebrating its 25th anniversary. So when we go over here to
DC.
comicbook.com, here, comicbook.com is going to show you how to write a piece of propaganda, Hollywood Reporter. Here's how it's actually done. Amid protests from religious groups, DC has apparently canceled Second Coming. Amid protests? That's some clever language because it makes it sound like it was because of them. What protests? Where? By whom?
They make it sound like Westboro Baptist was outside of their front door with signs.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's
probably like AK-47s or something is what it sounds like.
I love analyzing media assets doing their things. Amid protests from religious groups, DC has apparently canceled Second Coming. Apparently, you mean they said they did. Its planned Vertigo series that would have teamed Jesus Christ with a Superman analog, first announced with the rest of DC's recent Vertigo launches back in June of 2018, Second Coming attracted the attention of Christian activists and Fox News. In the weeks leading up to the planned publication of its first issue in March, retailers received an email Monday indicating that orders for the first two issues of the series had been canceled and that the title would not be resolicited. This comes on the heels of over 100,000 signatures gathered on a petition to kill the book on the grounds that it was outrageous and blasphemous. They took the issue of a notion that God would unfavorably compare Jesus to a superhero and give him homework on how to be a better Messiah.
Hang on. They missed a perfect opportunity there. They should have said that the book was being crucified, but it will be resurrected at another publisher.
Comics retailer Ryan Higgins, whose tweet alerted fans to the cancellation, noted, quote, "No one tell DC that they published Preacher," end quote.
No shit.
The idea being is it's like, you canceled this because a bunch of Christian people got bent out of shape? No, they didn't. That's the whole point. How do you know that? Well, because they buried the lead all the way down here at the bottom when you read DC Vertigo, cancellation of the orders of Second Coming. Just so you know, DC did not do anything untoward to me. Russell tweeted, "I asked for the rights back and they gracefully agreed. Artist Richard Pace has not yet commented as of this writing. He did later, and he agreed with him and said, yeah, this is totally the case. We just got our rights and we're going to go publish it through another publisher." So despite what comicbook.com wants to do here, amid protests from religious groups, Fox News and Christian activists got bent out of shape. It comes on the heels of 100,000 signatures gathered on a useless online petition to kill the book, etc. All the way down here, the guy who wrote the book and the guy who drew the book are both saying, hey, DC just decided to cancel it before we got too far into it, and they even gave us the rights to go publish it elsewhere if we wanted. No problem.
But
even when it's a non-story, we're still going to write the story the way we want.
And say Ryan Walters said, it makes me think of when Kevin Smith protested against dogma with the Westboro Baptist Church. I'm just going to leave this right here. Thor hates straights.
Yeah, like I was saying before we started the stream, I think this was already projected to be a failure because so many of the other Vertigo books are doing poorly, and the pre-orders probably weren't what they were hoping for, so they just decided to part ways before.
Well, I can't think of a single comic shop that sat there and went, Zoe Quinn's book? Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, let's get that one. The one book that I'm seeing the writer and creator in the news talking about how he might have raped his ex-girlfriend. Nah, let's buy that one. Wait a second, Second Coming of Jesus Christ? Oh, we gotta nix that one in the bud before it gets here. No way, I'm not buying that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the issue for me. It's like, I don't care. You want to write a comic book about Jesus Christ, go ahead. It doesn't bother me. I don't really see why anyone should let it bother them. They're preaching to a given choir and they're hoping for controversy. So there's free promotion in people talking about it and writing about it. And nobody who's an avid Fox News watcher, I would assume, was going to buy the comic to begin with anyway.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. The thing that I find hilarious is that you fucking cowards, in my opinion, there is no way you would have the balls to publish a comic about Muhammad's return to Earth, or the Buddha's return to Earth, or anything else other than attacking Christianity because it's the lowest hanging fruit that fell from the tree and fossilized, and you're still trying to pick it.
Well, just let me finish whacking this dead horse. You know, that's all it is. They were trying to be edgy, but it was like 1990s edgy. It's dated attempt at being cool because it's so trite at this point to knock on Christianity. It's just lazy. Yeah. If they really wanted to stir up controversy, they would have had a pro-Jesus book where he goes around doing Jesus-y stuff and like have it from a positive perspective, and maybe he comes down to convert the supervillains or something like that. But they won't do something like that because it'll get them too much negative press, and not the kind of negative press that sells.
Interestingly, it's on a separate topic, but you just kind of sparked a memory for me when you said, if you wanted to be really edgy, do a pro-Jesus book. Hey, it worked for Kanye West. He did a pro-Jesus track called Jesus Walks, where he's talking about his faith, and he's saying it even has lyrics in it where it's like you could do a song about anything except for Jesus. And he talks about nobody wants to hear about this in media. Fuck that. I'm doing a song about Jesus. And the fact that he wrote a song about his faith and how the role of Christianity is in his life and how we need Jesus, etc., that brought controversy that he was willing to say that. So you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's, when everybody is bashing one thing, if you become the advocate for it, you're going to make some money because it's suddenly controversial.
I also brought up before we went live when we were talking about this before. Whoever was doing the whole Second Coming thing is also late to the party. Sean Gordon Murphy of the Batman White Knight fame, of that really damn good Batman comic that came out a little while ago, published a comic book called Punk Rock Jesus a while ago, which was all about the Second Coming. So.
Yeah, there've been a lot of books like that over the years, mostly indie stuff, but Preacher even had a massively heavily undertone religious theme to it, and God was in there, and he was a sadist, and Jesus's bloodline was all insane and stuff like Lindsay pointed out.
Oh, I could tell you all about Preacher, because well, I mean, God goes missing, and then they try to keep it in the bloodline with incest and all this other shit. I mean, that's honestly one of my favorite books.
But it was better written, and this is lazy, edgy humor. It's sort of like the late to the party people,
Maybe you know what? I haven't even read it. For all I know, it's full of cleverness. The relationship between Jesus and Sunman.
Really, I've read Mark Russell's work. It's not going to be clever.
It's not likely. No.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna say with DC Vertigo, I said unless if Garth Ennis is planning on resurrecting Preacher, I could give two shits about Vertigo.
Yeah. Garth Ennis has had a bad reputation of other people ruining his shit. Let's not get on fucking Max Bemis. He deserves a ditch in the desert. That's about all he deserves.
Yeah. Now Jack Gunsky has an interesting point. Check out the new holographic cover with the Prophet Muhammad in 3D. See, you want to draw Jesus, have him on a lenticular cover. Like really go that next step, like a chromofoil lenticular cover. Mm-hmm. That would be edgy as fuck.
Yeah, a lenticular cover of him coming down from the sky and the Justice League kneeling before him.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that'll sell some books.
I don't think that they want to have their DC wants to have their headquarters attacked. Or run the risk of it happening like happened.
See, which is my point. They're a bunch of pansies. This is safe, edgy humor. This is normie humor from like 1992.
Yeah. Well, Johnny Hellcat said, didn't he also write, he meaning Kanye West, that he was Jesus as well? Well, he appeared on the cover of, I think it was Rolling Stone, like with a crown of thorns on, looking like in very Jesus-like imagery. And it's like, yeah, but it's Kanye West. I mean, that guy's never on the same shit for more than 5 minutes, right? That's his nature. But I just remembered that, yeah, if you write a pro-Jesus comic, that would be edgy, because it is ironically enough.
Well, wait a second. Wasn't there a whole thing where he was calling himself Yeezus?
Yeah. Yep.
Let's not get into the Kanye craziness.
You don't want to talk more about Kanye?
No, I hate that guy.
Well, okay, let's let's go to something a little bit more lighthearted and not so disgusting for that sort of thing. We all know who Gail Simone is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make fat jokes all day long about Gail Simone. Well, how about
she's best? Wait, Quiz. She's best known for being the owner of Lord Meowington.
Yes, Lord Meowington definitely is her bread and butter. More butter, but she posed on Twitter a little thing asking Wendy's if they prefer Marvel or DC, and Wendy's responded with Marvel. I'll wait for the shock to die down.
Okay.
The best thing though, in regards to this though, isn't the fact that Gail Simone is thinking about fast food and asking Wendy's about who they prefer, Marvel or DC. Instead, it's Dan DiDio and Jim Lee's response to Wendy's. There's a little here. Dan DiDio, weekly publishers meeting, having it our way.
They're loving it.
I think Jim Lee actually said, "I'm loving it," and it is.
There's no question that Wendy's dominates on Twitter. Whoever's running their Twitter account is saucy as fuck. But I'm not gonna pretend I don't like McDonald's food, because I do. Shut up. Leave it alone.
I mean, Mac every now and then. That totally did not sound wrong.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, I've heard people say before, they're like, hey, you know, a Big Mac, that's not even a burger. No, it's not a burger. It's a Big Mac. It's its own thing. It's in its own little category. It's fine.
Especially now that it has bacon on it.
Yes. America, bitches.
You know, in terms of the higher quality burger, I would say it's Wendy's. That doesn't mean I don't go to McDonald's and love it on occasion. So just
we all eat like gutter food occasionally. I'm a big fan of some of Wendy's food and McDonald's. Not so much Burger King, but it's got its moments where you're like, you know, it's like the pity sex of fast food.
Well, I'll say this. Wendy's has the better burger. Burger King has better fries. McDonald's is cheaper.
Okay.
I like McDonald's fries better.
I've got a tab here, but I don't want to talk about the story, so let's just talk about the salacious side of the story instead.
Well, hang on. We have to acknowledge that was probably the most lighthearted story we've ever covered on here.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was doing it in good fun.
Good fun in poking fun at Gail Simone's weight, but yeah, that's fine.
Like I said, good fun.
This is Kyle says, oh God, Polly is like Monkey would talk about. No. I like
free cheese too.
Talk about it's fine. I like those cheap like dollar tacos that they had. I get soft taco with just meat and cheese, and I pour border sauce all over it, the extra hot kind. It's fine. They're
nacho fries though. Holy shit.
No, those are pretty good.
Fries. So
nobody should eat it every day because it'll just be bad for your health. But every now and then you want to go have some Taco Bell, enjoy it.
Every now and then you want to go have some diarrhea. Awesome. Good for you. Yay.
Well, you know, see, my roommate and I, we both are on the same level with this. There's sometimes where you want you want something good to eat. You know, you want something that's going to be hearty and filling. And then other times you just want to eat garbage. So when you want something good, you go to an actual taco place. And then when you want garbage, you go to Taco Bell. And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you're in the mood for eating garbage.
Jimmy says, I eat Taco Bell only when I forget about the last time I ate Taco Bell.
That sounds about right, yeah.
But that's what happens. Like I eat it and I'm like, you know, I don't feel so good. And then I don't know, 3 weeks, 6 weeks later, I've totally forgotten about that and I get it again. That's how it works.
And how does this tie into comic books? Because sometimes you buy a comic book and it's a McDonald's, and sometimes you buy it and it's a Chipotle salmonella burrito.
And how does it relate to comic books? Well,
just did.
Yeah. Also, in addition to that, in so much as comic books used to have ads in them for things that weren't related directly to the company that's publishing them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, remember like Hostess fruit pies are classic comic book fare. Like they even made little one-page comics in the form of an ad that were inside of other comics for Hostess fruit pies. The list go on and on. Yeah, fast food places used to advertise inside comics. You know who doesn't advertise inside comics now? Everybody. Yeah. It's all Marvel comics are all inside of them are all ads for other upcoming Marvel titles, upcoming story arcs that they're running, shit like that. Because why the fuck would you as a company pay X amount of dollars for a full page of advertising space in a comic that's only ever going to reach 8,000 people? Who cares? Mm-hmm. Because comic sales have dropped that much that it's not worth it paying what they're going to ask to advertise. So they advertise themselves in their comics now. So yeah, you could find a McDonald's ad in a comic book back in the day. Not anymore.
The big one that
you're talking the language, carne asada fries. Whoo!
The big one that you used to find in Marvel comics was Pizza Hut. That was the big one that got advertised in Marvel.
Man, Pizza Hut sucks now. Am I the only one to think that?
Nah, they're all grease. They're like Marvel. You know, I feel sick after reading a Marvel comic the same way I feel sick after eating Pizza Hut.
Come on.
Come
on. No, Pizza Hut is good.
No, it's not. No,
Pizza Hut is the DC Comics of the pizza universe.
No.
They have not been good since the big New Yorker days.
Yeah.
I still like Pizza Hut. The worst chain pizza in my opinion, Papa John's.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but I still hate Pizza Hut because it's just grease in a bowl.
We can't keep talking about fast food on our comic stream. It just makes no sense because we'll keep tangentially relating it somehow back to comics.
Comics kind of go hand in hand. I mean,
they know your market. You know, it's about advertising. They used to advertise things that were appealing to nerds, which was like D&D, crappy fast food.
how many fucking was it Dragonfire? Fucking was it Dragonfire? No, fuck.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest. Was it Dragon Quest?
Yeah, the solo or the board game with the videotape.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest, yeah. How many fucking comics in the 90s had Dragon Quest, like, full double-page spreads?
Yeah, ads
oh my
for that
god, it was
and
everywhere.
Forgotten Realms campaign setting when it first came out. The Crystal Shard book when it came out. Those ads were everywhere.
Yeah.
For months and months. Now, no, they just have sad little ads like Polly said for themselves.
You know, okay.
Please buy Domino.
I can't move on from this. What do you mean you prefer Pizza Hut over Papa John's? Are you fucking crazy?
No, I'm not, because Pizza Hut is tastier than Papa John's. Papa John's is like eating cardboard.
Yeah. Pizza Hut, they actually put their toppings on with like a shaker. Like when you order like ham or sausage or whatever, it's dried little crumbly bits of meatoid-like substance. It's
hang on.
Okay with that.
Hang on. Let me explain. See, the shaker, you know, they shake the flavorings on and it mixes with the lard that they cook it with, and that creates flavor. Whereas Papa John's, they just coat some light sauce over cardboard and they're like, there's your pizza.
Let's just add more flavor to the fat.
I'm just saying, man, there's a reason why Pizza Hut doesn't need to include like little garlic butter packets to make the pizza actually taste good.
Shut your mouth. Those garlic butter packets are amazing.
Well, I'm not saying the garlic butter packets aren't. I'm just saying the pizza that goes with it is awful.
All I'm saying is both of them are terrible, but if you're going to force me at gunpoint to eat one, it'll probably be Pizza Hut. Plus, I'll be dead, so you can't keep me kidnapped anymore. So, yeah, I think they're both terrible. Everybody knows Jet's Pizza is far superior.
Oh, dude, if you're talking about stuff where you live, Cassano's, man. Every time I go back there, because yeah, like every time I go back there, I always get a Cassano's pizza. Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, Marco's is good. I like Marco's.
Oh, Ebony, we have Hungry Howie's here. They're not too bad.
I would say Rosati's is another one that I just learned is not just a local Chicago brand, and oh my god, it's delicious.
Polly's right though. We should probably get back on track.
Well, okay. You know what? Yeah. I was just looking up a few things. Wait, oh my god. That was a horrifying image. I didn't mean for that to happen. Okay, so anyway, I was talking about. Hold on, I'll share what the second one just shocked the fuck out of me.
This is horrifying. Look.
Oh my god, this is disgusting. Take a look.
We are never looking for Cthulhu with you.
Okay. There we go. Let's just make sure I got everything in order. Okay, so here's the story that's over at Bounding into Comics, right? Chris Pratt responds to Ellen Page, nothing could be further from the truth, yada, yada, yada. He talked about his Christian faith and he was just on a fast, and then she got all bent out of shape on Twitter and said, hey, why don't you talk about your anti-LGBTQ church, blah, blah, blah. And he said nothing could be further from the truth there, end of story. My point is her forehead getting bigger?
I'm telling you it is.
Yeah.
The older she gets, the angrier she gets, and the more her hairline recedes, and she gets this Mongo forehead so she can headbutt people.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay, what is with her frown lines there? She's looking like Alanis Morissette and shit.
We'll get there in a second, because I used to.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, sorry. Okay, we'll talk about her frown lines just quick second, because like I make no I don't try and hide the fact that I think Ellen Page used to be cute as fuck back in the day.
Used to be.
Yeah, used to be. Now, but Jack said on the Monkey Stream, we were both on there. Yeah, used to be. And I thought, why is she going downhill? Like, he actually caught my attention with that. Maybe I haven't been paying attention, because there was this one day, because like everybody kind of like, I think, at least I do, harbor this secret fantasy that somehow you have a chance. Like, you totally don't, right? But you're thinking, yeah, I got a chance. So there I am at 7-Eleven, right? A couple years back or whatever it was. And I'm standing in line, and they got the magazine racks up near the front. And I saw this magazine rack that had, I forget what fucking magazine it was, Elle or whatever the fuck, some women's magazine. And it has Ellen Page on the cover, looking hot as fuck, her sexy toned abs, and she's got like her shirt all open with this like kind of business suit blazer. And what does the text say? On Love and Life and Love and Ladies, Ellen Page comes out as gay. And I'm like, no, because like somehow that ruined my imaginary fanciful chance. You see what I'm saying? And in my mind, it did, because I thought she was cute as fuck back in the day. I went and saw Inception partly because she was in it, because she's as cute as fuck. But now I'm looking at this picture of her and I'm thinking, Jack might be right. I think her forehead's growing bigger. Her frown lines are getting deeper. And she's going downhill when she's still in her fucking 20s.
She's still in her 20s? Oh, she looks terrible.
God, I'm older than her.
I don't know.
She better than that.
I'm assuming. I actually don't know how old she is, but I assume she was in her late 20s at this point. She might, I don't know.
First of all, two things. One, Polly, I have faith that wearing your ascot and smoking jacket, you could pull a lesbian. Number two, if she pushes back on that hair, it's going to come off to be a wig, and she'll be one of those big brain people from the Cage episode of Star Trek.
Well, see, I said that. Okay, so I thought, okay, look. I mean, look at her. That's a very pretty woman. She's very beautiful. Okay, she looks great. You know, and so, but then I found this other picture. Now, for those of you with heart conditions, I suggest you look away. Oh my God,
headbutt.
Alanis Morissette, man. She's gonna tell me a whole bunch of shit's ironic when none of it is.
You tell, okay, Cassie says she's 31. There you go, just out of her 20s. Now you look at that picture and try and tell me it doesn't look photoshopped to you.
Yeah, her eyes are way too close together. She's got the
her eyes are way too far down on her face.
Yeah. Grisella said Ellen Page's hair is afraid of her eyes.
Like, we're just being mean motherfuckers at this point. But that picture really shocked the fuck out of me. I was like, oh my God, look at her forehead.
Steve,
it's like,
what you get for doubting me, Polly.
It's half the real estate of her face.
Yeah, you know why we're being mean is because she's going after, oh shit, Chris
Pratt.
Chris Pratt, who's a fucking national treasure, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind that she's disagreeing with Chris Pratt over something. That's fine. But she just, if you look like your forehead is expanding like the oceanic reef or something, you know, don't throw stones, okay? You live in a glass house.
But you know what's weird talking about Chris Pratt? So Chris Pratt used to be a fat, punchy guy, and then he got all like super toned and shit and went into superhero movies, and he's like a national treasure now, and women love this guy, you know? And then we got on the opposite direction, Ellen Page, who used to be cute as fuck, went into superhero films, and now her forehead is growing.
Yeah.
And she's getting frowny. Like, I mean, I know they call those laugh lines, but she doesn't laugh very much. So where'd they come from?
No, those are the SJW lines.
I was going to say, that's what social justice does to you. It completely uglifies you.
Let me show you an updated picture I found of her, Polly. It'll show you here. Right there. See, this is from the game. You can see how the forehead here without the wig, it looks more rounded and even. And although she is not using her rogue power against this Triceratops, she still has that angry look here. You know, like, I'm determined. So I just wanted to share that picture with those of you out there. And she's in 16-bit graphics.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a reminder to me to try and see if I can find a TurboGrafx 16. That's one of the only consoles I don't have.
The fact that Jack drops a bonk reference, I'm like, oh my God, the nerd in me just came out because I played that game a lot as a kid.
I'm here to help.
The fact that you threw up bonk just shows that we've fully spread into catty bitch making fun of people for the way they look territory. I mean,
I have never claimed to be anything except an asshole. So
all right, what other stories do we have that are actually related to comics in some way? Oh yes, how could I have forgotten? Well, do we want to? No, before we move on to another miserable bitch, let's talk about something else first. I haven't even read this, so I want to. I was popping around on Bounding into Comics. Oh, look, it's Picard again.
Sweet.
Let me just shrink.
Oh, I think
and engage.
Hey, Polly, I was going to ask you while you're looking that up. What are your thoughts on Star Trek Discovery possibly getting canceled?
We talked about that last stream, remember?
I know, I forgot. I just wanted to segue something here. I was trying to kill some time. I'm sorry for trying to help.
No, it's fine.
The silence on stream is better than reiterating something we said last week.
Wow.
Saying.
I was intending it as a question. Like, I kind of forget what we've covered and I forget what I've pitched. That's why I'm asking. Have I pitched this before? And did we talk about this? That's the way I meant it, man. Chill. So
Sorry.
in any case, Patrick Stewart reveals time period for new Picard-centric Star Trek series. Wait a minute.
Will be set. That's an awesome sentence.
Patrick Stewart reveals time period new Picard-centric Star Trek series will be set in. That's why I stumbled with it. That's a rough sentence, man. Holy shit.
You run that through Google Translate into German and then back out.
Ooh, okay, let's try that. All right, hang on.
While you're doing that, Alfred, but do actually do that. I was reading, I will go ahead and read this. Star Trek veteran Patrick Stewart confirmed that the time frame from for the upcoming Picard-centric Star Trek show. You guys are terrible. Now I'm reading things incorrectly that are just fine. Stewart appeared on the Graham Norton show. I've never heard. Oh, it's BBC. That's why.
British, yeah.
Yeah. Where he declared the show will take place, quote, exactly 19 years in the future, which is how time has passed since the last time I put on my spacesuit for the television series. Does he mean which is how much time has passed?
I assume so.
Okay. What's going on in this article, man?
He's pretty old. He might have dementia or something.
Well, that statement might seem innocuous. Stewart specifically mentions, quote, television series. Stewart's last appearance in the 2002 feature film Star Trek Nemesis. However, the character last appeared on the final episode of Star Trek Next Generation titled All Good Things. The episode aired in 1994, right? The episode took place in the year 2370 in the Prime universe, which will no longer exist if STD has its way. If the show is 19 years after, then we will finally see the non-prequel show that should begin in the year 2089. I'm going to rewrite this and repost it.
They're not paying you, probably.
I know. I'm going to do it for the sake of Trek nerds everywhere. This is of which I'm one. So I feel like a brethrenship with them.
I've got the translation from that sentence into German and then back into English.
Shoot.
Patrick Stewart reveals the era in a new Picard-centric Star Trek series will be in action.
That's actually a better sentence than the one they had.
It's actually grammatically correct. It doesn't dangle at the end. It's
dangling your participle.
Yeah. Okay, that's a full decade after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, which happened in 2079. Not only that, this is a full dozen years after the effects of the Dominion War, as seen on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's also about 2 years after the destruction of Romulus in 2387 that kick-started the JJ verse in Star Trek.
Yep.
Well, the destruction of Romulus, it didn't really. Destruction of the Kelvin is what kickstarted. Anyway,
well, remember, it was Romulus was destroyed, then they went back in time and destroyed Vulcan.
Yeah, which is all technically. You've got to watch the Midnight's Edge explanation of this.
Yeah,
it really clears it up quite nicely for those of you in the audience, because even the destruction of Romulus doesn't technically take place in Star Trek TV canon.
Yeah,
it's all part of the JJ verse.
Well, now there's claim that that JJ's verse is actually the Prime verse.
That's what they're trying to make it, because they actually can have all the rights to it. But that new lady at CBS hopefully will get shit sorted.
I just read through this and like it ends like
Paramount and CBS.
Yeah, over here in Double Space January, we learned that Stewart's character Jean-Luc Picard will, in fact, not be a captain in the new series. Get an editor, guys! Holy fuck! Does the time frame of the new series bring some hope that the franchise will thrive? ? Or, are you still uneasy with how it might turn out? Especially since Star Trek Discovery seems to be hitting a nerve-ending stream of rough patches. A never-ending stream of rough patches. Yeah. Now you should see Spock on the new series. Wow. So anyway, I was hoping that there was going to be, I hadn't read it before. I was just hoping that there was going to be a little bit of detail in there 19 years after. I mean, he's up in the production room or the writing room while they're working on this. He, meaning Patrick Stewart. I'm curious where they're going to go with this. If it has the look and vibe of Star Trek Discovery, I'm really worried for it. Like, I think
what they're going to do is, due to all the backlash on Discovery, they're going to merge the two universes together, I think, and make it more Star Trek Discovery, because that's what they had set in motion.
Yeah. I mean, that was the guess on Midnight's Edge, and I hated the way that it sounded, but it was so fucking persuasive, the argument they were making based on IP ownership.
Yep.
It was, that the mainline universe, like what we consider canon of Star Trek, has IP aspects of it that are owned by a million different people. And so,
it's mostly CBS and Paramount. They're split between the two largely. So I really, really think they're going to push to make it more Discovery and less canon, old-timey Star Trek. They're just going to ignore all that.
And it's just going to piss off even more Trekkies.
Yeah, they're too stupid to change course. Look at Discovery. Look how terrible that is.
God, I'm so glad I haven't watched that.
Oh, don't. It's so bad.
Well, I've heard that they've butchered Spock, and that just really gets me, because Spock is one of my favorite characters watching Star Trek. I'm kind of a Trekkie in training, but because I've been watching a lot of TOS, and just hearing what they do with Spock and how he's like murdered a couple of people and that he's like a logic extremist or some shit like that. I'm like, you've got to be fucking serious.
Yep. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I was just reading something and it gets really weird. Here, share the horror with me, people.
It's worse.
Well, yeah, because now we're going to move on to the ineffable Brie Larson.
Oh, yay.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
What rolls downstairs alone or repairs?
So we got, I just thought this article would be a nice jump off into our comedy-centric Mary Sue article on the same subject. But this has some weird stuff in it that's really confusing. This is from the playlist.net garbage tier. Brie Larson says views. Brie Larson says views the what?
Because that's not words.
I'm not even making that up. Look at that. That's
says
awful.
views the upcoming Captain Marvel as my form of activism.
So she is what's missing. Brie Larson says she views the upcoming Captain Marvel as my form of activism. What did I say about garbage tier? Okay.
Well, when you're writing about Brie Larson, you know nobody really wants to read it, so you don't have to try very hard.
Yeah. Despite the experience of winning an Oscar for her role in the film Room, Brie Larson's world is about to change like never before. In March, the actress's next film, Captain Marvel, opens around the world, and with it, Larson becomes an overnight superhero sensation, joining the ranks of Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, and Scarlett Johansson, among others.
Wait, if she's joining Mark Ruffalo, does that mean she's going to get fired?
I still refuse to look up whether or not that's a hoax. I'm living in my fantasy wonderland of you is fired on Twitter. That's just, maybe it is that way, maybe it isn't, but I'm not going to look it up. Let's see. And according to a new interview, the actress plans on using this newfound fame for some real life good. Quote, "The movie was the biggest and best opportunity I could have ever asked for," Larson says in a new interview with InStyle. "It was like my superpower. This could be my form of activism, doing a film that can play all over the world and in more places than I could be physically." And what exactly does Larson mean when she says that the film could be seen as a form of activism? Don't ask questions that people are going to give smart ass answers to. The Oscar winner, you already said that, says that portraying a strong, independent, and supremely powerful superhero that happens to be a woman, will not only inspire others, but also give Larson the means to use her fame for good. As a matter of fact, the only thing that you never shut the fuck up about, all across magazine interviews, etc., is not that the character happens to be a woman, but that she is a woman. Like, that's all that she's talking about. And how she's going to use this to bring young women and promoting charities to buy tickets for young women to come see it, because when they see her, they'll be inspired, etc., etc. What do you mean happens to be? Anyway. First off, get this. This is where shit gets weird. Okay. First off, she wants to create a pipeline for women and people of color to join the various roles in the production of a film. My next goal is to start a school to train people in the various jobs on set, she says. There are so many great jobs. You like the weird alien blasters? Maybe you could be one of the people who make them. We need young people to carry on this tradition in movie making. And it would be like so great if we had more diversity coming through that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say, so you like those alien blasters? You could be one. He's our new laser.
And she self-contradicts here. This is great. I remember losing my mind, she says, about seeing Indiana Jones. I couldn't even think of a female equivalent. There was like Sigourney Weaver in Alien, of course. That's an equivalent, you fucktard. You just contradicted yourself.
Wait, there was Sigourney Weaver in Alien, of course, but there wasn't enough in the Spectrum of Confidence and Sass, a little bit of a mess, and just a mix of everything. Oh, because, yeah, Sarah Connor wasn't also that in fucking Terminator. My God, this fucking vapid cunt.
The Spectrum of Confidence. I'm sorry, Sigourney Weaver is like so confident that I'd be like, okay, Ripley, what do you think we should do next? Like, what are you fucking kidding me?
On the side from orbit, just to be sure.
She starts giving fucking commands to the Space Marines,
yes.
And they're taking them.
Yes.
I mean, what do you mean she doesn't have confidence? Are you fucking kidding me?
Goes up against the fucking Queen Alien, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Just a fucking pulse rifle and a flamer. That's it. Duct taped together.
No shit.
All to save one kid because she's got like
Mommy
confidence.
Issues. Yeah.
I don't get it. And sass and just a little bit of mess. Okay, well, you're no sass, all sour face, and a total hot mess. So I don't know. You do seem qualified for this thing that you want to do. Brie Larson is also taking up a little bit of inspiration from the role of Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, or Carl Manvers. I want to hold on to the cockiness and the sense of ownership. Because I do believe in my abilities, and I do value myself, and I do know that I'm strong. And I know that I can do all these things and that people don't think I can do.
Because you're worth it. Ain't no man gonna tell you you ain't a woman.
I remember reading this when we were talking in Discord. You know what this reminded me of? That statement, this statement of hers reminded me of that book, the self-help book from the 70s. I'm okay, you're okay. Like, have you been reading corny self-help books from back in the day, Brie? Like, this sounds like a daily affirmation. I do value myself. I do know that I'm strong, and I do know I can do a lot of things that people don't think I can do.
This is me breathing.
So anyway, let's go over to Mary Sue, the stronghold of all comedic feminism.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Brie Larson again.
No, we are.
Mary Sue.
It's
like, why'd you change your name?
And you would think that the Mary Sue of all publications, that's a very loose term, of course, would not show a picture of Brie Larson with her resting bitch face that she always has.
She doesn't have any other face.
Excuse me. That came out of nowhere. Excuse me. Yeah, she just doesn't really have another face. Maybe this is their way of saying, like, yeah, stop telling women to smile. That's sexist. Brie Larson also kind of started this other thing where Brie Larson takes a stand on who she wants to see in her press tour. For so long, white men have ruled the journalism circuit, especially with superhero movies. Is that especially true? I don't know. That sounds like a guess on their part. But anyway, from there came white women, and that's pretty much where the inclusion has stalled. So shut up, white woman Brie Larson. We don't need to hear anything more from you. Listen to others' truths. And hold on, who wrote this? Oh, Rachel Leishman, that we looked her up and she's white as fuck. So why don't you shut up too, Rachel?
You want to get really nerdy for a minute?
Sure.
Brie Larson reminds me of Princess Langwidry, or White Widry, Princess Languidry from Ozma of Oz. The woman that had all the heads in the display cases.
Yeah.
And this was her only head that she has right now, and that's why she looks pissed off all the time. Because she can't find her other heads. Somebody stole them. Probably a little girl. Just makes me mad. It's so sad to see a really powerful witch like that just be brought down. Because she was a vain and spoiled princess.
I have to acknowledge Faithless, Tarkata, and Jim Healis all in the chat referencing good Saturday Night Live sketches.
Stuart Smalley.
Because gosh darn it, people like me.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
They like him so much he grabbed their boobies while they were sleeping. Isn't that what got him booted out of Congress? Was joke pictures or something?
Well, you know, if you yell surprise first, it's perfectly fine.
Oh,
You know what? You know what? This I just thought of something. So what is Brie Larson doing with her press for Captain Marvel? Other than inflating her hollow soul with some attempt at meaning that people actually care about her in any kind of way?
she's a ginger too?
She's planning on using her status as the star of the film to make sure that journalists of color and women have a shot, the first shot to interview over the majority of white male film reviewers. Rachel Leishman, you're a white woman. Shut up. You already said that it's not diverse to have white women there. You're a white person. Shut up. Right? I thought we were going off of this standard.
Well, no, if she really wanted to be diverse and inclusive in this film, she would have stepped down and Monica Rambeau would have been Captain Marvel.
Well, it's funny you bring up Monica Rambeau. Well, actually, I'll jump over that in a second to stop. Well, she very well might be, but she's not going to be Captain Marvel because we got to have did she have a diversity rider before she signed her contract that she cares about inclusion that much? That everybody, but they were told at a previous Oscars, I have two words for you, diversity rider. Demand in your contract that you will not sign to the film unless everybody behind the camera is a diverse crowd of men, women, people of color, gays, lesbians, handicapped people, mentally ill people, two-spirit, etc., non-binary, and so on.
Picture it, a small rural town during the Old West days, people milling about, and a stranger comes toward them, mounted on a mighty steed. They're like, who is this stranger coming toward us? It's the diversity rider.
I don't think that she would have demanded that, which means you failed. And I think that she wouldn't have demanded that because it's not like you've got the star power too. I think they just would have found another interchangeable blonde actress, which wouldn't be very hard in Hollywood.
No.
Because and I've said it before, this is blackfacing, because I was looking through my Amazing Spider-Mans earlier today, and I forgot that the origin of actual Captain Marvel happens in this one. I find it frustrating. Like when we just look, there she is, Monica Rambeau.
That's not actual Captain Marvel.
No, it is.
Actual Captain Marvel was Marvel, but
no,
she did say Shazam once.
Yeah, right.
Look at her. There she is. There, Monica Rambeau. That's Captain Marvel.
Dude, okay, do I need to go back to this whole thing?
It's not Marvel.
No, I don't want to get it. I'm talking of
Monica Rambeau was in 1982. Carol Danvers was in 1968.
The first
Kara Zor-El was in 1958.
I wasn't reading comics then. When I was reading comics, this was Captain Marvel. They could have had a woman of color playing Captain Marvel had they wanted to, and it would have been completely canon, but they didn't. They whitewashed the role, and Brie Larson signed it without a diversity rider. Awful.
They're going to bring Monica in as Photon. They've already set that up in the trailer.
Really?
Yeah, because her mom was one of the jet pilots that worked with Carol. Nice. And it says on the side of her ship, it says Photon.
Ah, that's her call sign. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would like to believe it's a reference to the 1980s laser tag knockoff show with Brody Lee, but no.
Yep.
Oh man, I feel so bad when you guys don't get my jokes. You have no idea how old that makes me feel.
No, I was just reading on into the article to see if there was anything worth reading, and it's just like it's so embittered. When Wonder Woman came around, the conversation around it was filled with men focusing their time and energy on Gal Gadot and her looks. I remember the David Edelstein review of the movie, and I remember it well. It took away from our time to finally be a hero. You're
not a hero. You're not a hero.
Like our time as women to all be a unified hive mind hero. Like, what are you talking about?
God.
It turned the movie into a look how attractive she is opportunity rather than a character arc and the power behind the story being told. I just, you know what? You're just bitter. This just comes across like, hey, listen, look, Brie Larson, you're pretty plain Jane. Okay. You're pretty plain Jane as attractive women go. Yeah. You're pretty, but not amazingly so. Gal Gadot is amazingly so.
Gal Gadot is gorgeous. I mean, I'm a chick and I'm like, yeah, she's hot.
Yeah. And people have said like Gal Gadot, she's like, yeah, but she's not a really good actor. And I'm like, I don't know if is a good actor, not a good actor. She's playing a very much a fish out of water character, and maybe her inexperience as being a good actor came through like that in watching Wonder Woman for me. I thought it was a put on, that she was acting like that on purpose, that it was deliberate. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's the way Gal Gadot's going to act in every single film. It certainly didn't appear that way when she was in Batman v Superman. Yeah, that she was all of a sudden like, hey, everything's wonderful. Oh my God, look, a baby. Like she's excited at everything. And it's like, yeah, that's because she's a bad actress. So I'm like, no, I think that was a put on. But the whole point is, Brie, you're not that great of an actress, number one. Number two, you're pretty plain Jane. I think Rachel Leishman over here is really angry at the world and is finding things to bitch and complain about.
What? Somebody on the Mary Sue complaining and mad at the world?
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah,
I'm both shocked and or appalled.
But why would anybody be shocked that people would be talking about how gorgeous Gal Gadot is? Because she is. Like, why do you think people are talking about what a resting bitch face Brie Larson has? Because she does.
My problem is people like Rachel Leishman here are the sorts of people that one specific statement there saying it's our time to shine, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You had absolutely nothing to do with this, Rachel. You are a nobody. Okay? Brie Larson is a nobody. Gal Gadot put forth a lot of her time, effort, and ability to make Wonder Woman good. Captain Marvel is going to be terrible because Brie Larson is terrible. You're terrible. If it weren't for us ripping your pathetic bullshit little argument apart, you would have nothing and no one. You would have no one paying attention to you. That's all the Mary Sue gets, are people clicking, looking to get outraged and to fucking refute their bullshit because you are empty inside. Everything you do is awful. Remember that.
Well, what gets me is that it's never enough with them. I mean, you go back and it's like, where the fuck were they when like Ellen Ripley had her time to shine, or Sarah Connor had her time to shine, or even going further back than that, when Princess Leia had her time to shine?
The 70s were a different time.
It's not current year where everyone's like, yeah, we don't have they didn't have garbage tier websites back then for people to nourish and nurture the chip on their shoulders and grind axes daily.
Yeah, because back then it was harder to telepathically communicate with your cats, and there wasn't enough poisonous cat urine seeping into their brains to alter the bitterness and rage into this all-powerful hatred of men. I'm pretty sure that's science.
Jim Healy says, and yet I'm still going to watch it. Yeah, I'm going to go watch it.
I won't. I refuse.
I will.
I'm not. Neither am I. Like,
but then again, this is also me. This is far from the only Marvel, MCU movie that I've missed out on. I
don't know. I remember all the people like, well, someone asked me, how are you going to go watch Captain Marvel and all the stuff you've been reading about it? and Brie Larson's kind of like hijinks around it, and go watch it with like a clear mind. And it's like, well, I don't know about all this clear mind stuff. Like maybe my thinking on it has been effective to one degree or another. But I went and watched Black Panther in the theater with all of the hype around it, and I still walked out of it going, "Hey, that was a pretty good movie." Like I didn't think it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen, but I enjoyed it. What? Like, you know what I mean? And I walked into it like expecting all kinds of bullshit in it, and there really wasn't. Like it. So I don't know. Like I feel like I'm going to go watch this movie. I've got a feeling that this movie is going to be. This is my guess, because of course I haven't seen it, and all you can go off is the trailers and the bullshit hype around it. I think it's going to be a bog standard superhero film, and she's going to play a superhero, and it's going to be a period piece, and it's going to end up as a middling Marvel film. It's not going to be the best of them all. It's not going to be the worst of them all. It's going to be somewhere in the middle for me. I think that's what I'm going to come out saying. And my guess is that I'm going to be, and there was no big moments of SJW anything. I think this is Brie running her mouth. That's my best guess.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing they did with Black Panther. They're letting the hype focus on the controversy aspect and sell tickets that way. I think it's going to be a mediocre movie, although I have to say that you cannot look at this image and not say that Captain Marvel's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, there he is. This is going to be a great movie.
Yeah, that's going to be a fucking awesome movie. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and also here's Tom Hanks dressed in photon outfit. I found that picture from Big.
Well, no, I was also thinking that, or it could be very well the Last Jedi of the Marvel universe.
I don't think it will be. Unfortunately, for all of my antipathy for this movie, it's not going to be the death knell of the MCU. What I think will be the death knell of the MCU will be Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, or America Chavez. And you better damn well be sure I will see those movies. They will be such glorious train wrecks.
Yeah.
To put a period on this Mary Sue article, to just finish it off here so I can get it off my screen. Well, get it off all your screens. Maybe Brie Larson's stance on diversifying her press tour will make it so that we're not stuck with the same kind of reviews we had this time around. We'll get a wide range of takes and opinions on Carol Danvers, and maybe Captain Marvel will get the coverage she deserves without it being mired in men complaining that a woman is getting time to shine in the male-dominated world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So anybody who's male, just be clear here, okay? Anyone who's reviewing this film who's male is going to be complaining that there's a woman leading the film, like that's the protagonist of the film. That's what she's expecting from every male reviewer.
Of course, because women haven't led a movie ever in the history of cinema, much less a powerful, strong, independent woman that don't need no man.
Well, God forbid, I hope she doesn't kiss a guy or show interest in a guy, because that might show she wants a man. God forbid, needs one. Like, hey, I'm a man and I need a woman. It's kind of the way pairing works and my sexual orientation works. Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what's the problem?
Oh,
like,
you buy into that crappy biology hypothesis nonsense? What are you hanging out with the flat earthers, you weirdo? We are not a sexually dimorphic species. How dare you say such nonsense?
I'm not even saying that. If you're lesbian,
it cannot be abided.
No, hold on. If you're a lesbian, do you not need a woman?
You don't need anybody. You're already a woman.
I guess need is a strong. Will you die? Yes, but you won't thrive. You'll merely survive.
No, you have everything you need with your fur babies. As long as you have your own Lord Meowington nearby, giving you all the love he can, as long as you feed him, you have everything you could possibly desire in life. You will not feel empty and unfulfilled in your 30s at all, especially as you get closer to menopause. There will be no regrets. No regrets.
I mean, what kills me is that, this author here, Rachel Leishman, breaks it down along gender lines, because that's the way she apparently views the world, if we're to take any evidence on the articles that she writes and the website she writes for. That if we get POCs and disabled people and women and people with mental illnesses and people two-spirit and people of different sexual orientations and so forth reviewing this film, they're all going to like it. That's her assumption.
Honestly. Yeah.
It's like, what happens if they give it a bad review? They're guilty of wrong think? That they're not good allies? What?
Yeah, see, you're missing the point. These Skrulls are embodiments of toxic masculinity. And any man that sees this movie is going to see this woman fighting their toxicity and automatically hate it and resent it. So they're biased. They cannot help it. They bear the mark of Cain between their legs. That's why they manspread, to spread Satan's word.
You know, I thought of something when, where is it? Jim Healis up here said, he thinks that I might like it more than I think I'm going to. That's possible. But then said somewhere between Iron Man 3 and Thor Dark World. Okay, Thor, that's interesting that you put those two like somewhere between them. There's such a gulf of movies that what I would from the MCU that I would put in between those that I don't even know where to put it. Like Thor Dark World is terrible. It's near the bottom, and Iron Man 3 was pretty damn good.
I'll say this: I liked Thor: Dark World a lot more than I liked. Oh God, was it Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
I didn't like Guardians of the Galaxy 2 very much.
But I wanted to love it. I wanted to because it had Kurt Russell.
Yeah, but he played a stupid Ego. The Living Planet is supposed to be literally a living planet, not embodied in a guy who can talk to you with a Kurt Russell beard.
I know. I like I said, I wanted to because Kurt Russell's awesome. But...
For normie action films, it was a passable movie.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying
okay.
Marvel hasn't made an unpassable movie. They're all passable. It's just rank ordering, you know.
That's what this movie's going to be. It's going to be just a C grade movie.
And
like, Lindsay, you're the only woman on the panel. Do you want to see Captain Marvel? Do you feel empowered by watching this?
No.
Are you going to see it?
No.
Thank you.
Honestly, I've the marketing behind it the trailers and stuff have not got me interested. And I was just thinking that with hearing the press about like the early screenings and the fact that the cat is getting more buzz than Captain Marvel, that kind of says something.
Well, yeah.
You got a point.
How much do you love that the action figure for Carl Manvers actually has a cat, that they produce an action figure of her as a literal cat lady? I mean, that's pretty priceless.
I find it awesome.
If they had an action figure of Goose, I would certainly buy the shit out of that.
Goose from Top Gun?
Well, that's the name of the cat.
Just Goose.
Yeah.
Goose. What the hell are you talking about? The first thing I thought of was Top Gun.
Well, it's funny you say that because that's what it's supposed to be named after. It's supposed to be naming him after Goose from Top Gun. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's a pilot. Get it?
Right. Then that's her co-pilot.
Yeah.
It's wild. Okay. Well, you know, what it made me think was I am going to do something I did before on Twitter. Not that I've got a hell of a lot of followers. By the way, follow me on Twitter. I'm simply at Polydub. And everybody else is
Poly_dub?
Poly_dub. Thank you. It is actually Poly_dub, which is in the description. And I'll be adding Cynical Lindsay's stuff to the description afterwards. And Jack and Quizzes are down there as well. Before I had asked, hey, here's my rank ordering of the actors who played Batman, ordered from best to worst. Well, actually, I did worst to best. And man, it actually got a lot of people responding because I was just interested in seeing everybody's opinion. I thought it was really interesting that Ben Affleck was a lot higher on everyone's list than I thought they were going to give him. And at the bottom of everyone's list is Val Kilmer.
I'm just gonna say it, man. Val Kilmer was a better actor. I'm just saying, he wasn't on mine.
Yeah, I thought Val Kilmer did a much better job than George Clooney, and he at least could do the Batman Bruce Wayne thing. He just got stuck in a terrible movie.
Yeah, but Clooney got dead last on everyone's list, which was really entertaining for me.
I wouldn't have even put him on the list if I could have added Kevin Conroy, because I think Hammer was the one that posed that question.
Well, in my original list, I wrote, here are all the actors, and I said with an honorable mention for Kevin Conroy, like not starting to include voice actors, but I can't start talking about Batman actors and not talk about Kevin Conroy. So I gave him an honorable mention.
I would have put Ben McKenzie right under Kevin Conroy.
What about Lewis Wilson?
Is that the 40s serial Batman?
Yeah.
All right.
He was better than George Clooney.
Yeah. Everyone's better than George Clooney.
Yeah, but George Clooney had those glorious bat nipples.
Well, he also had the Bat credit card.
Weird.
Oh God. Yeah, but that wasn't really his fault. I mean, hold on. And Iron Man 3, you know, people are like, oh, it was good, it wasn't good. Come on, people. It had Rebecca Hall. I mean,
you know,
that bumps it 2 spots. Period.
I personally liked Iron Man 3. I know Monkey muted you on your own stream once when you said that Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man 2, but I fully agree with you, Polly. Fuck Monkey.
Well, I mean, clearly Monkey's suffering some sort of mental lapse when he thinks that. I don't blame him. I blame the medication or age or general derangement. But like,
yeah, both.
I'm older than Monkey. Let's not go there. I agree with him. I thought Iron Man 2 was a better movie than Iron Man 3.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
It had Mickey Rourke. He doesn't even know he's an actor.
Man.
He just thinks everybody gets his name wrong.
No, Iron Man 2 was garbage.
Come on, Rebecca Hall. I mean,
yeah, that doesn't save the movie just because there's a pretty girl in there. Otherwise,
whoa,
a lot of blockbusters.
Pretty girl. That's like talking about Laura Harrier as some woman. I mean, come on. This is different. She's bewitching. Look at that smile.
Yeah, that's the smile of security dragging you away from her.
so she's married and recently had a child. A man can dream, can't he? It's leave me alone. In any case, I do think Rebecca Hall is absolutely bewitching. Although I will offer a criticism of her. In every film that she's in, it's painfully obvious that she is English because she cannot fake an American accent very well, but she keeps getting hired to play an American. And I keep hearing her English slip out, and it's like, oh, it's a good goddamn thing you're stunningly beautiful, because it's so obvious you're not an American.
Yeah. See, Shady's got my back. It would have been better if Kingsley remained the villain instead of trying to redirect the plot. That plot was stupid. The Mandarin was way more badass.
Well, as opposed to Iron Man 2, where he's standing up on stage drunk, pissing in the Iron Man suit, and this was supposed to be funny. It was dumb.
Well, he's an alcoholic. That's actual character. That's like comics literal translation. He's actually a drunk, and he had to fight whiplash.
Man, Iron Man 2 was such a mess. They didn't know what to do with it. Iron Man 3, at least they were going on the whole, springboarding from the Avengers, which was a good movie.
Yes, I don't know. It was an okay movie. I didn't hate it or anything. I just think it was
Avengers?
No, Iron Man 3.
Oh.
Vortex says I prefer her with the accent. Yeah, absolutely. Every time I've seen her like in an interview or in a film where she's actually using her accent, oh my God, absolutely. Jim Healy says, do you really think Polly's going to get close enough to her to see the smile on her face of her security team? I will, with my smoking jacket. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because they'll think he's a maitre d'.
No. What place has maitre d's and smoking jackets? Clearly, this is some kind of high-class individual with a mellifluous voice.
Rich people do when I'm not there. I don't get to go into any of the fancy places.
No, I'll just be like,
person, get him out of here.
Yeah, I will just intone in my baritone form. This, oh, hello, Miss Hall, and she'll be like, well, Mrs. Hall, I guess. And get into a conversation with her. It'll be easy. It's no problem.
And then you pull out the burlap sack, and then you're running off with her.
Hey, does this rag smell like chloroform to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I just
aren't you glad you came on, Lindsay?
I'm going to reiterate my point. I'm going to allow you guys to rethink it. Okay, so Rebecca Hall. Blah!
Yeah.
Or Rebecca Hall. That's so
when you put it like that. I mean,
yeah, you can't compare apples to gargoyles. I mean, I know. Totally.
Here's a picture of a Neanderthal, and here's a block of wood. Which one would you rather make out with? It's a tough call. You're going to pick Brie Larson then.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Okay, all right.
I'm still waiting for Brie Larson to roll over my neighbor's dog, so,
Whew, okay, I'm sorry about that, people watching now and in the future. That was a really mean thing to do. Okay.
Jeez, Polly, you can't stun the audience like that.
I know.
You need 4 trigger warnings.
I know there's people eating. Someone might choke on their food or drink. I mean, this is.
Wait. What if they do a movie with Ellen Page versus Rachel McAdams, and it's the headbutt competition?
I thought
Would
Rachel
that like sonic shockwaves through the world.
I thought Rachel McAdams was a really beautiful woman. I absolutely did. Her in True Detective season 2, even though she played this character mired in all of these emotional problems, she still came across as super competent, which I think is sexy as fuck for an actress that can pull it off. She was great in Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Playing Irene Adler. She was fantastic. And then that picture of her with the double breast milking machines on. Have you seen that?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like, and apparently it was her idea, and it makes me just like
all people from Hollywood are kooks, dude.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh wow, so you're crazy too, huh?
Ellen Page's MODOK.
What?
MODOK, the Captain America villain.
The guy with the little arms and the big head in the chair.
The little T-Rex arms.
Oh yeah.
He's like a baby in a metal diaper.
Yeah, Rachel McAdams can look pretty, but I think a lot of that's CGI because her forehead's pretty big and she seems crazy.
Oh man,
just saying.
Seeing if I can find that picture really quick because it's fucking horrifying.
Oh, I found the Captain Marvel action figure that the Mary Sue staff is going to buy.
There it is.
Yeah, right here.
This is
the Cat Lady action figure.
Oh, which one is Lord Meowington?
I'm assuming it's probably this yellow one because he looks playful. Maybe the tiger stripe one. I don't know. I actually have one of these on my unboxing channel, and I think I'm gonna do a little sketch with them.
No. Okay, Jack, you need to send it to me, and I'll paint her hair red, and give her a little bit of pudge.
She needs glasses too.
Yeah, so I can make her Gail Simone for you.
Yeah, you know, I spent about 3 hours looking for a hover round toy, and you know they don't make any. I couldn't find one, so if anybody finds one from a reputable sales site, let me know because I looked and looked. I found body positive dolls, like Lamley, I think her name is. There's a body positive action figure, but I couldn't find like a mobility scooter. So I was like, this isn't as funny or mean, apparently.
Hold on, there it is. Oh God, like Rachel McAdams, why? Just why?
Yeah, see that you better take that down before YouTube gets on you because that'll cause nightmares.
Sweet dreams are made of these.
It's like the Eurythmics and Marilyn Manson had a kid together.
www.hairlosstalk.com. Jack Gunsky, don't make me remove your ability to post links, man. What did you just post?
Oh, Jack. Oh man, it's a wind up though, so you can't like transpose them.
Oh.
But Racing Granny and Granddad.
Oh, hello.
And one's on a mobility scooter.
Oh, see, I was looking up the wrong stuff.
That's horrible.
It kind of is.
It is.
At least Granny can walk. God.
Hold on, let me see if I can do something even more horrifying. This will be good. So, is everybody ready for their pitches? Because it's about time we wrap this up with a little positivity.
Yeah.
I was just getting some images ready.
That's sweet. So, who would like to go first? Right after I horrify everyone. Your screen is nothing but 4 heads and eyes.
She's poking at you from the screen.
Look at how big that fucking forehead is.
Look at all seedy and shit.
I'm such an asshole. Oh my God.
Oh, it looks
Counter
like
pores.
No, yeah, it looks like she plucks her unibrow.
You know, I'm just waiting for this to turn into a Monty Python sketch. It's like eyes popping out and shit.
I think we're probably not anywhere near that classy. We're more kids in the hall.
All right, I got to return that image to its normal size. It's fucking frightening. Okay, who would like to go first? Jack, quiz?
Okay, I'll go first.
All right.
Since the Alterna thing happened, we're going to look at Midnight Mystery issue 2.
Very in accordance with Valentine's Day. Well done.
Yeah, well, I told you I wasn't going to pitch a Valentine's Day book because if I want to support Hallmark, I'll go buy some damn cards. All right, so Midnight Mystery, I pitched the first issue. This is issue 2, which follows up, and it starts getting crazy. It's got a nice noir feel, very dark and sinister. It's got some... Oh, wait.
I was going to say, that's Batgirl with the...
that ended up in the wrong folder. So we got the Count Karloff here and his only heir to his fortune. We've got a mystery, supernatural mystery. The art style has kind of a Bruce Timm look to it. We've got the butler. We've got a mysterious lady that we saw in the first issue. I don't want to give too much away. And paper mache skulls. It's got a little bit of everything. Supernatural and noir mixed together. It was a lot of fun. It's a great book, and it's from Alterna, and I think they need the love after what happened. So show them some love. This is a fun book. Get the first 2 issues. Both were really good, and they're only $1.50 each. So yeah. I enjoyed them quite a bit.
Nice. So who would like to go next? Quiz.
All right. So my pitch, it's tangentially related to Valentine's Day. Nice. By that I mean it has love in the title. I've talked this book up quite a bit, but this is the first time pitching it. I'm actually pitching something from Marvel, guys, believe it or not. Written by Chris Claremont and drawn by Brent Anderson. Yep. Hang on. Did I mute myself?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. Drawn by Brent Anderson. I am pitching God Loves, Man Kills.
Really?
That's so romantic.
Yeah, it's very loving.
The story centers around the X-Men. It's, I think, one of the first, if not the first, time where Magneto actually teams up with the X-Men. The story begins with these 2 children running through a playground and are gunned down by these psychopaths with guns here, simply because they're mutants. And good old Magnus here finds their bodies chained to the swing set with Muty written across the swing that's holding them aloft. And he vows to find the people and make them pay. Well, it turns out that they're part of a terrorist cell that is part of the Stryker Crusade and are part of the Purifiers that are trying to kill all mutants. And it's one of the like there's a plot point in it where Professor Xavier, Scott Summers, Cyclops, and Aurora Monroe, Storm, are all believed to have been killed. So the X-Men team up with Magneto to try and solve the murder. Yeah, it's a very dark, very dismal sort of take on the X-Men. It's also showing the fictional depredations of someone who can be so blinded by zealotry that they can perform these sort of horrific acts. It's a very mature X-Men comic, and I love it. This is hands down probably my favorite X-Men story of all time, and I cannot recommend this comic enough. You don't need to have any previous knowledge really of the X-Men. They explain who they are and what they do in the book, and yeah, it serves as a very good standalone and hands down my favorite X-Men story.
Nice. I think I remember reading it back in the day, but then I couldn't remember. And then after you had talked about it a while back, I did go read it myself. And yeah, it's fucking outstanding. It really is. It's a great pitch. If you want a standalone X-Men story, yeah, it's fantastic. Great pitch. Though I agree with Pop-Tart, it isn't a good Valentine theme.
It has love in the title.
Well, yes. Okay. I mean, that's true. Every single other thing about it is a bad. Okay, Lindsay, would you like to go last or would you like to go next?
I guess I can go now.
Oh, okay.
Why not? Okay, hold on. I was trying to
present your anime baroness there.
All right. So let's see. Let me get this up. Here we go. Wait a minute. Oh, crap.
Well, take heart, Pop-Tart. My pitch is totally Valentine's Day themed, so it's cool. It's cool.
I'll do this. Okay. I am pitching for Robert Kirkman's latest title, Oblivion Song. So to paint the picture here, so the story revolves around a guy named Nathan and who lives in Philadelphia. And about 10 years ago, there was an event that occurred called the Transference, which... Yeah?
Lindsay, you're just presenting the Hangouts.
Oh, crap.
Which you don't want to do, or...
I'm trying to figure out how do you screen share the...
Just click, go to your bottom row and click on the image if that's what you've got.
Okay.
Do you have it on your...
Well, because I'm trying to pull up the, like the photo...
Yeah.
Thing. Oh, crap. See, I can't tell. Shit. All right, let me try this again.
Okay.
I'm such a boomer. Okay.
No worries. Take your time.
Yeah.
All right.
In the meantime, do you want to look at Ellen Page's forehead again? Anyone? No. No? Okay.
I don't think that'll help at all.
Was that a trigger warning, Polly?
I've got it right here if you want to see it. No? Okay, fine.
Oh, there you go.
You got to go there. You got to go there, Lindsay?
Is it working?
Yeah.
Let's
we
see.
can see your file folder.
Yeah, we see your file folder.
File folder. Okay, so how do you do this?
Just click on the image.
Okay.
And it should bring it up. And then...
Just open it up and it'll show us. Because we're seeing everything, your desktop or whatever. So if you bring it, oh, we almost had it.
We almost had it.
Almost. Wait. Do I do the view application thing?
Just literally open the file so you can see it, and we'll see it too.
Yeah.
I'm impressed with how well Lindsay fits in with our unprofessionalism.
Okay.
Vortex said this better not be porn.
Whatever. You be quiet, Vortex.
Okay, now it's saying it's open.
Where's it open?
Is it open at the bottom of your screen?
Well, your taskbar. Yeah, find the whatever you're using to view images. Either that, or you could just minimize the window there for that you've got open, and it should go straight to whatever you've got there that's viewing images.
Would you like me to pitch in the meantime while you work on figuring it out?
Go ahead.
Yeah? Okay. I am going to pitch the only Valentine's Day themed comic that's going on today. Spider-Man Annual number 21. Amazing Spider-Man. The wedding issue of Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson.
Oh man, now you got me regretting not pitching the wedding of Green Arrow and Black Canary.
Well, you did know this was our Valentine's Day, so you could have done it.
That's a good point. It's a good point. It's a really good point.
Now, this comic has a somewhat corny edge, but not in a way that bugs me in any kind of way. It's a classic. I mean, you absolutely have to read. Look at the big Spider-Man face heart behind it and everything. It's fantastic. And everybody loves these two characters and loves the fact that they're married. I mean, MJ and Peter, come on, they're supposed to be together. That's why people get so frustrated with what's going on in the movies. That's one of the reasons people got so frustrated with the One More Day storyline, because it ended with their marriage being obliterated by Mephisto and, all of those things going on. So if you haven't, This issue is fully available. You could or purchase it online, and it's absolutely worth reading. What happened? How did these two get married? It's kind of great to go back and look at it, and it's like in a total late 80s style, which is, you know, always charming in and of itself. And there we go. Written by David Michelini, and it starts off with Electro, of course, here. And notice he looks nothing like
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. He looks nothing like Jamie Foxx.
Bill Bellamy.
Bill Bellamy.
So
hey, you'll notice that Electro's a redhead, and that goes to Weibo's redhead replacement theory. That they're replacing redheads with people of African descent in movies now. Starfire. Yep.
So in any case, this is still when Spider-Man's wearing his black suit. No, not the alien costume, just when he was still wearing the black suit, not the symbiote. He gets in a fight with Electro, so there is a story in it, much outside of just their wedding. It's definitely a supersized issue. One of the things that I do find particularly funny about this is this was back in the day when Mary Jane Watson still looked like this.
She doesn't look anything like Zendaya.
Well, she was like
Zendaya,
a hot redhead, but not the way that people would draw her in a little bit. And just the interaction between her and Peter, it's honestly adorable. Like here he shows up with the wedding ring, right? And she runs to go kiss him. He jumps to the ceiling and she's like, "Okay, can you come down, please? I hate cleaning footprints off the ceiling." It's adorable. It's it's adorable. So the issue does go through the various things. Here's Peter having this nightmare about the upcoming nuptials, where he goes through this nightmare sequence where Gwen Stacy shows up from the past, and then she devolves, and then is he putting Mary Jane, her life at risk because his life is constantly at risk by all these supervillains finding out who he is, thus who she's married to, and of course they all attack her, and he wakes up. Oh my God! It's great, but you know, spoilers. Obviously, they do end up getting married, and they do, and it's honestly, it's so worth reading, if only for the way that it ends. Before we get there, though, I mean, like I said, this is one of the last times you ever see Mary Jane drawn like this, because shortly thereafter, artist by the name of Todd McFarlane started drawing Spider-Man, and his style of art was extremely influential at the time and for years afterwards, where everybody started drawing Mary Jane to look like this, as you see her in the bottom right-hand corner. This is from Amazing Spider-Man number 298. And this is the first time you see Mary Jane drawn as much more of a model, which she's supposed to be. And by issue 300, Todd McFarlane had gone full retard and was drawn Mary Jane like this now. Where he's got her in like this little lace teddy and stuff, and she's got like this long mane of red hair instead of just being, you know, cute Mary Jane from next door, when she still looked like this. But the issue that I'm talking about, the Amazing Spider-Man annual, where they get married, ends on the perfect note. It's like, after 2 weeks of our honeymoon and that fabulous villa, what the heck are we doing in a dump like this? And she gives them the perfect answer. "That's easy, Tiger. We're doing exactly what we'd be doing anyplace, living happily ever after." The end. Perfect. And yeah, you know what? Under layers of cynicism and crusty, hard-felt feelings of being on the internet for too long, I am a romantic at heart, believe it or not. So yeah, this punches me right in the feels, and it's awesome. Great Valentine's Day reading. What? Say it if you want. I will not let angry feminists online convince me otherwise.
You know, funny you say that. Here, wait. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll see if I can find it.
In the meantime, how's it going over there, Lindsay?
Okay, is this better now?
Yeah,
yes.
Up on screen. Present you?
I'm just going to blow up the screen. So, anyways, I am pitching for Robert Kirkman's latest title, Oblivion Song, which was written by Kirkman. Lorenzo Di Felci did the artwork, and then Annalisa Leone did the coloring. So, to paint the picture, we have our main protagonist, who goes by the name of Nathan. He lives in Philadelphia, and about 10 years ago, there was an event that occurred called the Transference, which ended up taking 10 square miles of the city and basically swallowing it or kind of pulling it into another dimension. So there's a section of Philadelphia that is stuck in this other dimension called Oblivion, and there's all sorts of creatures that are roaming around, and it's just, you know, it's pretty crazy stuff. And also a good portion of the people ended up going missing into this other dimension. So Nathan goes in and he goes in to try to rescue some of these people. Well, of course, he also has his own personal interests in regards to why he's doing this. But it's a really, really good title. And I mean, Kirkman has been putting, I think, a lot of his ideas, a lot of his creative output into this series. And one thing that I really, and just to go through some of the artwork, obviously that's like one of the first panels, but I mean, the artwork's actually pretty cool. You know, he's just going in and just rescuing some of these people. But it's like, what I really like about this title is that to me, Kirkman's forte is moral conflicts and just these people that there's like these moral conflicts going between different characters and just this clashing of philosophies and stuff like that. And he's really good at making relatable characters as well. That's why I really enjoyed The Walking Dead so much. Mm-hmm. So obviously, when I found out about this title, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. And honestly, I'm enjoying this more than I am currently The Walking Dead. If you're a fan of science fiction, I highly recommend this. And the quiz, I know that you've mentioned one of my favorite video games, Silent Hill. It has kind of that Silent Hill-esque type of story with like this other dimension with all these creatures and just how dangerous it is and stuff. And it just really appealed to me. So if you are, again, and I'm actually pretty impressed with some of the artwork in here. And I really like the different types of colors that they use. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if you are a fan of science fiction, and yeah, that's pretty much Oblivion song. And one of the it's also interesting to kind of get some of the different subplots to the characters. Like Nathan's business partner was stuck in the Oblivion and he's been pulled out just recently. And then there's with his subplot, there's a lot of fallout that occurred within, the time that he's brought back into our world. And it's just really fascinating stuff. So yeah, that's my pitch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna say, let's put it this way: it can't be worse than what he's currently doing with Walking Dead.
Oh no, yeah. It's how I said that his creative output has definitely been going into this, and so far, I mean, my husband and I both read it, and we both have been enjoying every single issue that has come out. And I believe they're coming up on their 1-year anniversary. They're coming up on issue 12 really soon, and so far, it's keeping me interested.
That's good. All right, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
excellent. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, our very romantic Valentine's Day special, where we talked about, well, let's see, 4 heads, angry feminist, Brie Larson, Spider-Man getting married, God loves while man kills, conflicted philosophies. Yeah, it was random. We've done some random episodes in our time, and this was one of them. So final thoughts, anybody? As always, for me, buy in the past. The more I read from what Joe Quesada is doing, the less I want to buy anything new that Marvel's up to. They're really just, it can't last forever. That's the way I see it. It's a current style. Comics have gone through trends. It won't last. But in the meantime, there's no reason to abandon the genre even slightly. There's back issues that will keep you busy for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? I'm still finding out stuff that I slept on, like, constantly. It's just from the 90s and 80s alone, I'm finding stuff that I had no idea even existed like a week ago. You know what I mean? So yeah, looking through graphic novels and back issues, they can be had inexpensively. By all means, avail yourself of some of the great stories that have happened. Anyone else? Final thoughts? Crickets.
As usual, always check your local comic stores and like local conventions. There's tons. It doesn't have to be any of the big ones. You know, in the Chicagoland area, there's several that are not Wizard World or C2E2. There's tons. Look for that sort of thing. It's a really good way to meet a whole bunch of people that are into comics, talk comics, and be able to find new stuff. Also, the major roadblock that a lot of people have is they feel intimidated by the massive backlogs of some of these books. If you're at all interested in any of the superhero stuff, don't be. Find interesting books that don't have any sort of continuity baggage. There's tons. God Loves, Man Kills, the one I pitched today, didn't have any continuity baggage you had to worry about. It just, it's a good standalone story.
Lots of graphic novels are that way. They're written as absolute standalones that, who's this person? What's this person? No, it'll all be explained within. It's very rare that it's not. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Don't be... we talked about that last week and the week before. Don't be afraid of starting. There's so many great places to start, and there's so many people to ask. Jack, Quiz, Cynical Lindsay, any of us, and would be happy to point you at a great starting place and an inexpensive starting place. Alterna Comics, if you just want to get started, is a great inexpensive place for new comics that don't come along with baggage of other sorts, to put it a certain way.
Yeah.
Well, and then another thing too is that comics, it's not just the superhero genre. I mean, you have a huge variety to choose from. I mean, like what I pitched, and then of course there's The Walking Dead and all these other titles that are not superhero related. So don't feel that that's the only thing that to go for. There's plenty out there.
Yeah. From mysteries to detective stuff to supernatural stuff, vampire stuff. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. Yeah. Sequential art is widely variegated, to be sure. Jack, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I like Chaos's parting thoughts. Fuck bitches, get money. But I'm going to throw the link for Alterna's Etsy store in the chat. You should see it now. And I think if you want to get into some comics or try something different, order some stuff from them. They could use the love right now, and they produce a lot of good stuff. They have a pretty good selection.
And I promised you, Polly, I'd ruin Mary Jane for you. How about her marching with women? Huh? It's a plot to stop women. Here's one woman who's wide awake and ready to march.
Another plot to stop women.
Dun, dun, dun.
Not ready to pull her top off and go to a slut walk.
Well, that would be more current year. This is clearly a mid-'80s incarnation. She might be marching for something substantive. You never know.
To be fair,
feminism march.
Another tip for you: don't let Rachel McAdams or Ellen Page headbutt you.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, and word to the wise to someone like Brie Larson: do not alienate your fan base.
It's wild how many people need to be informed of that, but I just like not to start another subject, but it's like I think that's part of the weirdo Hollywood bubble that Jack was referring to earlier. It's if you're completely surrounded by people who are telling you this is a great idea and lauding everything that you do, and people are sending you links to all of these articles that are just singing your praises for being stunningly brave, why wouldn't you keep doing it? That's my best guess, because I don't know. I'd always been told that these people are constantly Googling their own name. You have to see the reaction. But then again, even people that are directly receiving valid criticism all the way to angry bullshit on Twitter still keep doing what they're doing. I don't know. I don't get it. Don't alienate your fan base. You're absolutely right, Lindsay. It's just, come on.
And then also, it's like, hey, guess what, Brie? Those white men, that's your primary demographic right there.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's just angry. She's named after a cheese.
Literally. I mean, it's
Brie, yeah.
And
I mistyped it the first time that I typed her name in for comic book curation. I typed as Bree because who would name their kid after a cheese? Well, chose.
Her brother Munster is also very upset. Her cousin Gouda just doesn't have a very happy life. So
you know who has a great that they're always left alone. Nobody really likes them too much.
Yeah. I mean,
before Jack cracks a joke about Monterey, I think I'm going to sign off here.
That's where they all live.
Thank you for coming, Lindsay. We enjoyed having you here. As always, Jack, Inquisitor, thank you for coming on as well and doing the things. And to everybody listening in the future, remember to like and subscribe, though I'm not sure why you would like such a disorganized stream, but we hope you did anyway. We'll see you next Wednesday, everyone. Have a good night.
Woo!
Bye.
Take care, everyone.